Guys, I'm super excited. Super excited about Daggerheart. I've been playing around with it. I got it, last Thursday, I think it was. Or was it? It was Friday. I've read through the book, like a novel. I don't know how much of it actually went in, but I've like to think I've got a pretty clear understanding of what's going on. And I like it. I like it a lot. Thank you for the follow, Panic Boy. Audio is great, perfect, and you're doing good. Even better, Leon. At a restaurant with your family, it's your little sister's birthday. Well, happy birthday to your little sister. Alright, so. Today I kind of wanted to chat about Daggerheart in general. A casual, laid-back chat. I unboxed this last Friday. So obviously I can't unbox it for the first time on stream, but I got footage of me unboxing it. Right here. That I'm probably going to use in my review that's going to come out in hopefully a few days. Maybe for some other stuff, but the actual unboxing itself, we can go through and I can talk about each item in here. It's genuinely really cool. Make sure everything's good on YouTube. It looks like it is. Bearing in mind, I have the limited edition box, which I don't know if you can even get unless you pre-ordered it. So I don't know if you can still get it. But it's got some interesting quirks, let's say. And it's got like one negative, I think. And that is that the cards don't fully like hold in place when you close the box. So it's here. It's a big boy. And I think some of the cards have probably slipped around in there. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. But there's like 4 slots for cards in here. And in the normal Daggerheart, like core book rule set thing, you get the cards as well, but there's 6 slots. So it's kind of... It's a pity, because I wanted to put... This is such champagne problems, but I wanted to put, say, all the character ancestry cards in one area. And then I maybe wanted to put all the classes in another. But you kind of have to, like, merge them all up, unfortunately. Akina, what is up? Hope I'm running on YouTube. Good, good, good. Been watching my other content. First time watching you live on here, though. Good, Infinite Consortium. That was my plan. Not to get specifically you to watch me live on Twitch, but I dropped that Matthew Mercer and Spencer Stark video just a few hours ago, and I did my Daggerheart video yesterday. So I'm hoping to get a new influx of people, and this is my test. Like, for anyone who's been in this chat a few times, you know my fight with trying to make live streams not affect my long-form content, and that I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I think it does. When I go live, my views on long-form goes down. So this is kind of my test to see if this affects my long-form video when I've got some good videos going on. Because the Matthew Mercer one that went out today is like the best one I've done in a while, views-wise. Touch wood, that it doesn't change. I have already unboxed it fully, but don't worry, I will go through. I've got footage of me unboxing it, which we can go through. And I can give you a review of what I think of Daggerheart right now, so far, but it's going to be first impressions. It's not really first impressions, it's first impressions after having it for 5 days. So, second impressions, maybe. I've played around with it a fair bit, and I've read it, and I've got like a feel for it at this point. Catch you later, Leon. Cinnamon, your first time here, but I came from the 5-room dungeon video, so the algorithm blessed you with that one today. That's crazy, because that video has not been doing well. Yeah, my conspiracy is that I don't think people like seeing the chat on the side in videos. Like they see that and they think, oh, it's a gaming streamer who's not, I don't know, they're not that bothered about it. But enough about my woes. Let's talk some Daggerheart, shall we? So this was from Friday where I got it, and I just threw my phone up. The lighting's not that great, I apologize. But this was the limited edition box set that I received. And we can go through it. It is a really nice box. Like, this thing is nice. It's got, like, the magnetic clasps on here that open it up. It's solid stuff. But it's not going to be what most people receive. Because, like, as I said, this is the limited edition version. Could we perhaps make a character to see the character creation? Greg, we could do. After this, we can go through it if you want. But also, I can jump on Demiplane and make one on there. If you're reading this in the future, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. Thank you, Silence. I'm not sure that this will make it into a video, though. I think that's what's killing. That's what was killing my videos. I think maybe people were right. People said maybe treat the live streaming experience as a different thing from your long form videos, and maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. Did you also panic when you looked at the cards? First, I was going crazy because of the gold. Then I thought I was missing a Lawborn card. I didn't panic as much until I saw a Reddit post saying exactly that, saying like, these cards are so nice, and they're gonna get ruined. They're just gonna get ruined in play. I literally made a short today that'll go out tomorrow where I have that. I like start off with the hook of like Daggerheart's unplayable with the limited edition box set because it's so damn nice. You so said you missed a window to order this set. Hopefully, maybe they will do like another release of it. I hope they do. It's very, very nice. Okay, so what's inside it? Let's have a look. Oops. So, first things first, character sheets. And by the way, these character sheets, there's a ton of them. There's an absolute ton of them. And the best thing about these sheets are, they come for like different classes. So you've got the Bard character sheet and the Rogue character sheet. And they're all very, very similar, except the class feature is filled in for you, which is nice. And certain other things, like the Rogue's Dodge under the Hope, which is, this area is kind of like the ultimate. Then for Druids, there's the whole, all that stuff. And then at the back of it, there's, get it out. At the back of it, there is some really useful like cheat sheets, which I pulled out. Which I've got a play guide, which tells you how to play the game in one page, and I've got a GM version, a GM guide, how to GM in one page, which is really nice. But just as a reminder, I wouldn't character creation in one page. I wouldn't like get my hands on one of these and think I would know how to play the game at all. But as like a quick reference for stuff you already know, very, very cool. Yeah. Oh wow, you didn't even notice the different class character sheets when you unboxed yours yesterday? Yeah, it's cool. I like it. Some people might not want that. Some people might just want blank character sheets, but you can print them off. One thing I will say is that this game seems to think that everyone has access to a printer, like just very easily. I think the normal edition, like the edition that is not the limited edition I've got here, doesn't come with character sheets. It comes with cards, which is useful, but you do need character sheets. So you will have to like print some off, or I guess try and make your own, but that's a pity. Shinzigami, what's going on? Finally made it. Welcome in. Welcome in. Play guides, they have on a website now for free, as well as a godsend for learning system. Nice. Good. I'm glad they're up there. I really hope that they keep this good faith stuff going that Darrington Press and Critical Role seem to have a reputation for. It's been a hot minute. It has. Okay. Card sheet's cool. Nothing special. Then I actually forgot and didn't realize I was even getting a GM screen in here. And I gotta say, pretty cool. The GM screen's like feels very beginner friendly. For example, and in a good way and a bad way. So this is GM screen. This is the official Daggerheart GM screen. It is upside down here. So this is kind of what you're going to be looking at as a player. And it's got some really cool information on here. It's got like a lot of information on here. But some of the things are like GM principles and GM best practices, which are saying like, hey, don't be a jerk. Which you would think you would only, once you've played a few games, you would not need that information anymore. Akina, thank you for the follow. And there's nothing wrong with having that information. It's a brand new game and it's the first edition of it, so it's good for beginners. But I can see myself putting my own information on here that is more niche stuff, like little bits of rules, like falling damage and stuff like that. But still, very, very nice GM screen. You've not heard of Daggerheart until my video because I'm so behind in Critical Role news and content. Yeah, my cat. You okay, miss? Am I being too loud? There was a cat behind chat, just chilling. And she screamed just then. You are those lucky few who got your copy sent early. Been combing slowly through it the last few weeks. What's everyone's thoughts generally? It's pretty. It's very pretty, I have to say. It is very, very pretty. If you ever got the Teldori Reborn book, it's very similar. My cat's talking in her sleep. Don't be a jerk sounds like a basic advice. Yeah, for life. I'm disturbing her. Well, she can leave. The door's open. Also, because the door is open, Cat the Mouse, let me know if I'm being too loud for you and I can close it. Oh, she's got to leave now. You okay, miss? She's screaming at me. Let me close the door. I think if it was up to her, Cat the Mouse, then what happened there was she woke up, she screamed, and I would run and get her food bowl and I would take it to her. I think that's what she wanted. Oh, you're all good, Cat the Mouse. You'll be as loud as you want. I've closed the door now. But yeah, the book itself feels very Teldori Reborn as well. And it's beefy. It is beefy. There is a tab in here that allows you to get things out easily. And I keep forgetting to put it over the top, so I have to like get stuff out the hard way. But yeah, the book is pretty beefy. It's like 360 pages long. Very nice because it's got this down the side, which is like each chapter. So I know that adversaries are this red mark here. So I know if I want to go and look at monsters, I can just open it on that page. But yeah. So. Do I have a favorite tier of play and maybe a favorite enemy stat block? I've only played around with the first tier. That's all I've played around with so far. So, no, Margot, I'm afraid. Hello from Germany. Hello, Brown Fox from Canada. Okay, so. That's more the GM screen in action. Nice images. You can see there's just a lot of tabs. It's like a lot of information. There's the tab. And the book. Now, I've a nitpick with the book. And that is simply that there is no title on the front of it. And I constantly keep lifting it up and like being like slightly confused by it. I just wish there was an obvious like back and front of it. It's cool it's not, and it's such a me thing. But I just wish it said like Daggerheart on the front of it or something. It just feels really weird for it to be titleless, except on the spine. Controversial opinion. Think I prefer the cover on the basic core rule to limitation. I don't think it's controversial at all, Infinite. I would go as far to say as I think I agree with you. Sharpie Daggerheart on the book. Yeah, right. I think I agree with you. I think this art is very, very cool up close. I think when you like start looking at all the details, it's really, really cool. But I think just on like a base, like seeing it and not having much time to take it in, you're kind of like, it's just a lot going on. And the core rulebook, like the non-limited edition, is just very cool. It feels more like a book. But that being said, this is very, very different. So I like that as well. But I'm probably going to get myself a normal edition anyway, because I don't want to ruin this, which sounds stupid, but it's true. Get book tags for certain pages, and you can distinguish. The style is something refreshing and new. Yeah. I got a favorite class in Ancestry. We'll talk about class and Ancestries in a little bit, because I do. And I have a least favorite as well. So yeah, this is me just fumbling my way, getting through opening this damn thing. Speed this up a little bit. The art in this book, so nice and so cool. And then that's it for this first part, and then it's got a little shelf that comes out, which is very, very cool, but isn't very practical using it a lot. Getting in and out of there isn't very practical, but it's cool as hell. And then we've got the cards, a dice set, and a token set. What's up, Lorenzi? How's it going? Here I only opened one set just for this unboxing. That's what I'm doing there. And cards are very, very cool. They have the gold edges, but this is just a limited edition version of them. I believe you'll get very, very similar cards in a normal one, but they won't have the gold edges. My issue with the box here is that they struggle to fit in. They do struggle to get in there, and they can slide around. Like, they don't sit in there perfectly, if that makes sense. It'd be fine if I got some kind of, like, elastic band around them, or, like, some kind of cover for them or something, but, yeah. And then in this big bag, it is a premium version. It cost me like $150 Canadian. But even then, like, they must have, like, it's a very nice freaking box. Come on, I can get in there. Come on, I can get in there. You got this, Phil. You got this. It's just, yeah, you got it. There you go. There you go. All right, so these are the dice, and we can talk about this. These dice look incredibly cool. But they don't feel incredibly cool. They feel fine. They're resin dice, they're light. They kind of look like they are more expensive than they are. I think the issue is, from a distance, they look like really expensive dice, which is a good thing. But I mean, I've paid money for dice that's like the price of this whole box set, and they look like that, but they feel like gemstone dice and are weighty and nice. These feel like normal dice when you pick them up. They're resin and light and plasticky. Nothing wrong with that, of course. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But just so you know... Oh. D20 Future Show, thank you for the raid. How's it going? Purple Gorilla, howdy. We're just talking about the Daggerheart game from Critical Role. This is my unboxing footage that I got, so we're just going through it. And I was just complaining about these dice. Space Maths raid. Oh, welcome in. Those 2d12 don't look symmetrical, meaning they are mathematically inaccurate to roll all numbers the same. King Meatbox, hey. What's up? Who's gonna try this out? It's a good question. Like, are you guys even interested? That interested in buying this? Or are you just waiting to find, like, see reviews and stuff? Let me pull out the dice. But yeah, so you can barely see it because of the chat. Here, let me hide you guys. So it's not a big deal at all, but these cards will kind of move around here. So they don't stay in place as much, moving this around. And then the dice, not a fan of its combat design, fair enough. It assumes too much faith in the group. Well, here's the thing. I think people are like, they're not taking into account that just like D&D has a learning curve, the group has to learn to play Daggerheart. So you're not going to have the faith at the start, but as you talk about it more and you follow the principles of the game, you can develop that faith, right? I don't think it's like because it's the same argument as someone being like, I'm not going to play D&D because my players don't understand that it's a collaborative game and they keep trying to kill each other. And it's like, yeah, they might do that at the start because they come from playing Call of Duty, but like they'll learn, you know? But I'm not saying, like, I'm just defending it because I'm seeing so many people like say they don't want to play it because of stuff like that. And it's like, no, it's just, there's going to be a learning curve but people will just learn to play it. So here are the dice. Ooh. You know, it'd be great for those cards, tarot pouches. I've been lusting over ones on Etsy for the longest time. You're trying to get me to buy you some tarot pouches, Kat. So these are the dice. They are not shaped like normal D12s, but they are D12s, and they're very, very cool. But they are very, very light. And like, if I close my eyes, they feel not as premium as I would want them to. But it's a starter set. I know it's a limited edition starter set, but like I can't be here expecting them to give me $130 gemstone dice in this $150 box set. Like, it's all very nice. It's all very nice. Will the cards fit in standard card sleeves? I think so, Blake. I think so. They look like normal size cards to me. But I don't know. I'm not a card guy normally, so I don't have a way to test them. You think it's simpler curve now because BGT was such a trend? Those look really cool, yeah. Rhomboid dodecahedron. Yeah, is that what they're called? I saw someone else put that. But I guess so. They're cool. They're cool dice. But I'm not quite sure how people can. The idea that you need like special D12s to play this game is nonsense. You can just use normal D12s. Why not? And then this part is like a part I'm still not sold on entirely. And that is the tokens that they kind of recommend you play with. They're like just the tokens that there's just so many of them. I think in the book it says they recommend that each player should have 7 of these, and it's just a lot. When really what the people are using them for is stuff that you can just do with a piece of paper. It's just for tracking certain things. One of the biggest uses for them is this idea that when you roll to see if you succeed, and you have a +2 to the roll, you would roll your 2d12s and 2 of those tokens to remind you that you have a +2 to make the maths easier. But I'm like, no. I've been playing D&D for a long time, and my players have never had much issue adding a +2 or 2 +2s to a roll in their head. So I'm not entirely sold on the tokens. The cards as well are just information that you could put on a character sheet that makes it feel like you don't need them either. In an ideal world, it would be like they should be optional rather than like the norm. But they are cool. And like, if they were optional, I would choose to use the cards. So. Ooh. You enjoyed my interview with the devs? Thank you. I really enjoyed that as well. It was so good. We can talk about that as well. If anyone has any questions about that, let me know. What are the biggest sides of those dice? I think they're relatively symmetrical, right? I'll have to dive into each class and what they can do before I do anything. I wonder if it would roll them more often. Oh, 1 second. Cat the Mouse is sending me photos even though she knows it comes through my hearing aid and it's distracting. I'm going to mute you, Cat the Mouse. Don't take it personally. What was I talking about? I think it's easier to learn social barriers turn-based systems require than to develop the self-awareness of managing the time, manage talking time with everyone around you. Blade Roll, I'm only going to defend this strongly, not because of you or anything, but because I've seen so many people comment like this. In D&D, DMs manage the talking social time of the players in every other aspect of the game outside of combat. And it's easy. It's simply easy to do. So in combat, it's just the same, right? It's only an issue if you and your players have played a ton of D&D and are like stuck in that mindset, in which case it just takes time to shift out of that mindset. But it's not like a difficult thing to do. It's not hard, in my opinion. There are a new Daggerheart dice set in the Crit Roll shop now. Oh, I'll check that in a bit. Tokens feel weird to you. Yeah, the cards and the tokens make this game feel a bit more like a board game, really, for better or worse. But this feels more like a game that you can pull out on a game night and just be like, you want to try this new game? Here, take some cards, pick a character, pick this. Here's some dice. Let's go. There's more to it than that, but it's certainly easier to swallow than like D&D. The token bag is chaos. Yeah, it's a big bag. The fact that you had to pick them up to roll already made you think about adding to. I think why they ask you to pick up the tokens and roll with your dice is because sometimes you're adding a +2 modifier because you have +2 to agility or whatever, and a +2 modifier because you're using an experience. And I think it's just this idea that D&D normally you're just kind of adding, for an average roll, you're just adding one modifier. But in Daggerheart, you can be adding multiple. But it's odd. It is odd. What's up, Rogue? It's gimmicky, nerds like that stuff. I couldn't justify the price of this version for how I'd use the extras, but damn, it's pretty. It really freaking is. It really is. It's going to look nice on my shelf. Your DM was an English teacher. He manages you with a capital M. You're generally curious on what the aspect for D&D players feel more with DH. Just on a shallow perspective, it feels like DH allows for more narrative customization for players and choice. Yeah. You start playing D&D after BG3, I had really tough time understanding it. Daggerheart seems very intuitive compared. No. Daggerheart, it does not feel intuitive compared to D&D. I would say it's actually harder to understand if you're coming out of it from nowhere. If this was going to be the first time you ever played a game, Daggerheart is not. I'm not saying it's hard to understand, but D&D is easier because you are just rolling that D20 and it's a success or not a success. Daggerheart, the average roll has a lot more moving parts and it can take a second for your head to get around it. Do you need high improvisational skills then for D&D? What's your thought? With this Fair & Hope dice, there's a mechanic that needs improv skills. Brown Fox, I think you do need higher improvisational skills than D&D on average to play the game at its basic rate. But I think good D&D games have the same level of improvisational skills, if that makes sense. So if you want to play a good D&D game, you need that same improvisation. If you want to play a mid D&D game, then you can like prep everything and railroad your players. And you can kind of do that in Daggerheart too if you really wanted to. But it's less played towards like the idea of railroading. Trying to think of a name for your fungal serif. Oh, are they a fun guy? Lorenz, thank you for the subscription. Holy crap, thank you. You are a fun guy. Do I foresee Daggerheart being adopted, or will the stubborn nature of insular communities prevail? Hard to tell. Hard to tell. I think it's going to be up there with like Pathfinder, at least. Riot, thank you for the subscription with Prime. Yeah, throw me the Amazon money. Keep the Prime subs coming in. But thank you, Riot. Hype train, thank you. Yeah, I think it is going to be popular with a select niche. I hope it explodes. I hope it really explodes. It's a really fun system. And it would just be easy to get other people to play it with me if it did explode. But the reality is, D&D is it's like a brand new drink coming out, right? It's like a brand new drink coming out, a fizzy pop, and people are like, everyone's going to drink this instead of Coca-Cola. And it's like, no, they're not. Coca-Cola's, it's got its fingers wrapped around everyone's throats too much. It'd be too hard to do that. Doesn't mean the drink's not going to be a success. Not at all. Like, because the drink could still be a success, but it would take years for it to grow to the size that something like D&D has grown to. So that's what I think. You hardly drink cola, yeah. But a lot of people do. All right, D20 Future, thanks for popping in. Thank you for the raid. Catch you later. You're a Pepsi pal. By the way, tell me about the German roleplayer YouTubers Rocket Beans. They also created their own systems called Tiers. Ooh. Let's see if DH can hold what is promised. Because no one plays that. Yeah. I think a lot like the Avatar TTRPG that came out, and it was a good system, and the book was really nice, and there was hype around it when it came out, and like people played it, but I don't hear about people playing it long term because it just didn't have the they just weren't continually making stuff for it. It was like a pump and dump. That's awful to say. It's one and done. I think that can happen a lot with these kind of TTRPGs. But I'm hoping, and from what talking to Matthew Mercer and Spencer Stark, they have plans, long-term plans. And especially, I think if this Age of Umbra Critical Role campaign does really well on YouTube, Critical Role might switch to this long-term. And if they switch to this long-term, I can't see it not becoming a like solid staple in the like TTRPG lineup, you know? It's the WoW killer thing. Everyone's trapped in a toxic relationship with Blizzard, yeah. I think if you, the players, all going with respectful of each other and enjoy more of a free-flowing format, Daggerheart will work really well. Yes, I think so. Otherwise, it can be an adjustment, especially if you prefer the crunchy aspects of D&D. Yeah. Yeah, and I played with Cat. I GM'd Cat the Mao in a one-on-one session. And I believe your vibe of it, Cat, if you don't mind me saying, was you really liked it and you want to play more, but you missed the combat being crunchier. You missed having, like, a big battle mat with a bonus action, movement, and action. You missed thinking about, like, oh, I can cast one spell, but only one spell. And a cantrip, I can cast a cantrip and one spell. Or if I take an opportunity attack here, that's going to mean that I won't get to take a reaction later in this round. That's all D&D stuff that some people enjoy and other people find tedious as hell. And that's kind of the litmus test, I think, of whether you'll like Daggerheart or not, is whether you like playing that strategic tactile game in your head, like tactics game in your head, of like, what can I do in my 6 seconds, in my 1 turn? What's the most optimal move I can make? Daggerheart takes that away and says, like, forget doing an optimal move. How do you make this battle really cool? How do you help your other players and team up and have this moment that you're going to remember? Yeah, that's the difference. Martin Ulvin, hey, what's up? I think people watch CR because of the players and good storytelling, not because of the TTRPG system. Yeah, I think so too. I thought Matt said DH was for shorter campaigns. I don't know about that. The book certainly talks about long-form campaigns being completely viable. Does Hasbro own Exandria to some capacity due to the expansion books? I don't know the full details of that, but I will be surprised. I would be very surprised if Critical Role gave them any kind of long-term hold over that. I think it's all Critical Role owned and Downton Press owned. Yeah, you really enjoy the strategic aspects of D&D. So that's what was missing for me, but also I'm super down to try it again. Yeah, I think once we get into a big battle with other players, like I want to play it with like 5 players and see how that all comes out in the wash. Because you can still have that strategic stuff and those tactics. You're just like working with the other players to do really cool stuff. Like you're rather than being like, all right, how do I do the most damage to this guy this round? It's more like, okay, how do I team up with another player so that we can use our team up ability and do the most damage that way. But yeah, it's definitely, I think it felt like when I played it with Cat the Mao, I was really surprised at how much the story was just creating itself. And that's the other thing that is going to be very different. And some people will like it and some people will hate it. And if you... I guess in D&D it feels more like the DM sits down for like 30 minutes to an hour before the session and plans the session. And then is there to just keep things on track. And there's some leeway to let players move around and change the story. But there's still very much an expectation from the GM of how the whole thing's going to go. Martin, thank you for the subscription for 3 months. Thank you. In Daggerheart, it feels like you can prep and you can try and tell a really good story like that. But also, the story will just, like, the dice will roll a certain way. And then, yes, you will have to improvise as a GM. You will have to. But it will improvise in directions. You're kind of doing the prep at the table and figuring out what's going to happen next and where it's going to go. And you're asking for, like, guidance from your players as well about what they would like to happen or what they think would be cool. And you're just putting that in there. And it's a very cool vibe. It's a very cool vibe. Thank you for the follow, Peanut Players. Do I prefer Daggerhearts or D20s blow up? What do you mean by that? Like, you mean critical? You mean crits? You want to see the 3 pages of the cheat sheets, how to play GM character creation guides, along with the character sheet to be made public? Would be great to try them in a one-shot. Yeah, I think they are public now. I think someone said that earlier in chat, at least, unless they were lying. The beta materials online still? What's up, Wimseller? Has Critical Role done any shorts where they are playing Daggerheart? They've done, yes, they have like, but it was beta Daggerheart, so Daggerheart has changed now. On Thursday, they're doing a full mini campaign, like an arc. So I'm definitely going to be checking that out. Oh, Dimension 20's never stop blowing up, or critical role Daggerheart. I prefer Daggerheart. I do prefer Daggerheart. Dimension 20, they're different as well. Dimension 20 system is well suited to one-shots and very short campaigns where chaos, where just chaos unfolds, and it's a lot of fun. Daggerheart is less chaotic than that, I think, but is still story first. Also, Never Stop Blowing Up was like a 6-page system, and this is a 360-page system. So there is definite differences. I believe the Christmas show may have been finished rules. I don't. Maybe they changed some things at the end, but yeah. They're live in 5 minutes celebrating a release. Should we watch that here? No, I don't want to step on our toes. But I did have some stuff I wanted to watch. But before that, let's look at some cards. You guys want to see how to create a character really fast in Daggerheart? I can show you. So these cards are kind of out of order. But I have here... This is doing it in different order, but you would choose an ancestry. From here. So we've got dwarf, elf, fairy, fawn, lots of Fs by the way, furbolg, fungrill, lots of Fs, galapper, giant, lots of Gs, goblin, halfling, human, infernus, Qatari, orc, ribbit, and simia. That's a lot of ancestries. And so I would just give this to you guys and say, pick one of these, right? And if you're a new player, you would pick one. Doing it this way as well means that like people are less likely to choose the same species, race, ancestry, which is cool. But if you did want to play more humans, you would need to print out more cards. But yeah. And let's say you wanted to play a halfling. Then you would just take this card and you'd be like, okay, I'm a halfling. And you would put that down in front of you. Then you would grab this set, of which there's more, like duplicates. So this is a Wizard School of Knowledge. Wizard School of War. So these are literally subclasses, of which there's 2 of each class. Bard, Troubadour, Bard, Wordsmith. And there's tons of these. Sorcerer, Elemental Origin. And each one of them has like a feature or a thing that they can do, which you then would take like, okay, this halfling is going to be a Wizard School of Knowledge. Now you have 2 cards in front of you, like this, and at a glance you can see, okay, halflings can do this. And then School of Knowledge wizards can do this. And that area would take up like half a page of a character sheet, and it's just 2 cards in front of you, which is really nice. Every playgroup is going to have so many ribbits and fungal. Yeah, I didn't like the idea of ribbits and simia, especially those 2. From the art I'd seen, they looked so cutesy-rootsy and small and just like a bit too kind of comedic for me. But this freaking book does such a phenomenal job. Anyway, before I show you the ancestors in the book, you would just build your character like that. So you would grab your ancestry, you would grab your subclass, and then you would grab your community, which is like where you're from, what your background is, which gives you something else you can do. And then you would pick, at level 1, you would pick 2 other cards that are abilities or moves that you can do. And there you go, you have like a character fleshed out just from that. If I can show you briefly what they did with the ancestries, though. every Ancestry page is full of these half-drawn, black and white, like partially drawn sketches of different body types, and kind of different potential looks. So here's a Simia one. And it made me realize, oh, a Simia doesn't have to look like this. It could actually look like one of the apes from Planet of the Apes, which is way cooler. And the ribbits don't have to be these small frogs. They could be like tall and slender, very agile Jedi-like movers. And it just made me like think, oh, you can take any of these. Same with the fungrills, any shape or size. You could give them a really cool silhouette. Make a fungrill a bit more like a samurai kind of looking thing. And it makes it so much cooler. And the book's really good at like giving you an image and then giving you a bunch of other images and just expanding your mind massively. Robbie Landis, thank you for the raid. How is it going, guys? What is going on? We are chatting about Daggerheart over here. Thank you for the follow. You're kind of bummed that there wasn't any domain cards added. I really hope they're added content in the future because it feels like you're limiting players if there's any overlap of domains. Yeah. Woo! Follow a goal, Matt. Thanks, guys. Yeah, the cards do give kind of a bit of an issue, which is a scarcity kind of vibe. Like, if you just use the cards that came in the box, only one player could play a human, right? Which is a shame. I wish they had. I would rather tell my players you can play any ancestry you want, but let's only have one wizard, you know, or let's only have one sorcerer or one seraph. Yet they give multiple of those cards, which is just an interesting choice. Yours got delayed for another month. Oh no, Robert, I'm so sorry. Where in the world are you, can I ask? Not your exact address, of course, just give me an idea. Yeah, get out of here, Robbie. Have a good one. Thanks for the raid. Definitely endorse printing more cards. Yeah, the game does have, like, it does presume that everyone buying it has a printer. It does think that. And just realistically, that's probably not true. Is there anything you guys want to see from this in particular before we move on and take a look at some reviews and take a look at how to play? But yeah, I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with it. I was very worried, to be honest, that it wasn't going to be good. And that would have really bummed me out. I've seen other reviews out there at the moment that are very much either like, I hate Critical Role and this is bad. I've not played it yet, but it's bad. And I've seen reviews on the other side which are like, Critical Role can do no wrong, this is perfect. Or I've also seen the political spectrum side of things where it's like, Critical Role's too woke, I'm not going to touch that game. Or, finally, another game, I don't have to play Hasbro's and WotC's D&D anymore. It's hard to, like, get a review that is, like, unbiased. And I'm biased as well. Like, I wear my bias on my sleeve. I like Critical Role. I like Matthew Mercer. I had an interview with him literally, like, the other week. I think he's great. I think Critical Role are great. And I, at one point, was like, if this is bad, I'm going to have to tell everyone it's bad. And it's going to suck. And I genuinely, and you can believe me or not, I'm very happy with this system. And I will recommend it to anyone who prefers the role-playing, bantery, storytelling nature of D&D over the dungeon-crawling, gaming, numbers go up. I just want to hit things, playstyle of D&D. Not saying either one's bad. I'm just more on the role-playing side of things myself. So if it sounds like I am poo-pooing the other side, it's because I'm not on that side. I think Dungeon Craft did a great video yesterday that looked at these two different types of D&D players. And there's this idea that people play D&D, they're either role players or gamers. And they're two distinct things that you may have around your table. And role players want to role play and have fun, and they want world building and they want lore. They want a really rich world. And gamers want to build a character and do cool stuff and not like have to. You know what the equivalent is? It's like gamers want to skip the cutscenes and get to the action, whereas role players want to live in the world and be part of it and like tell a story. And depending which side of that you're on is the side like you're either gonna like Daggerheart or it's not gonna be for you. Gamers want lore, role players want lore. That's brilliant, Brown Fox. I've turned the chat off now so you don't see what he wrote. Let me turn the chat back on. He wrote lore, L-A-W, and then lore, L-O-R-E. That's perfect. What's my favorite weapon in the game? The grappler. Lorenzi, it's the grappler grabs people and pulls them towards you. It's so very cool. There's something funny going on with the spear weapon if you want to be amused. Is there? I was, and albeit like, you know, I might have missed it, but I was a little bit disappointed at the information around the weapons in general. Like there's a tier 1 weapon you can get, which is called glowing rings, which can be used at close range, not melee, but close range. And I wanted to find more information about what glowing rings were. I couldn't find them. And hand runes. And I think the idea is like, I can imagine what they are. Like glowing rings are just rings around you that you can magically blast people with at close range, and hand runes are the same thing, like runes on your hands that allow you to cast magic out of them. But I want to know more, but maybe that's the point. Maybe it's for me to decide. Okay, let me find the weapons area and look at spears. Oh, I just spear. Like the normal tier 1 spear. Are you going to have to tell me what is wrong with the spear? Like improve. Oh no, this is tier 2. Spear, finesse, very close. 2d10 plus 2 physical damage, 200. Minus 1 finesse because it's cumbersome. What did they do with the spear? I really don't give a care about Critical Role, but this system seems like a really interesting way to play. Really want to try it. My hope is that this makes a session feel less like a math test. It still takes a lot to play, like of cognitive space. Certainly to GM, it takes a lot to play. Not more than D&D, but certainly it's not easier. So you have the Govran in that, yeah. It would be interesting to know how many of Critical Role's 2.45 million YouTube subscribers actually play TTRPGs. Trinda, it would be interesting to know how many of them still watch Critical Role. I feel like people come in and come out. I think a true test of people who are like engaging is like looking at the past 10 videos, say, and seeing what the deal is there. Spear equals very close. Yeah, very close is like, I think, 5 to 15 feet away or something. Spear's a -1 to finesse, but the spear is also a finesse weapon. Oh, right. So if you hold a finesse polearm, your finesse is worse. only if you're attacking with it, right? Lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. for me, I was trying to. I got very confused about falling damage at one point because the falling damage in the book tells you how much damage it does if you fall at long range, and it's a ton of damage. But then if you convert that to the armor system, sorry, the damage threshold system, the most you would lose is 3 HP no matter what. And that really confused me for a second because I was like, oh, so no matter what happens, you will only take 3 HP when you fall. But then it also says in the book, but also the GM can just decide you die. If it's that you just die. And I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. D&D doesn't do falling damage well either, by the way. D&D is like 1d6 like every 20 feet you fall, is it? But there's a cap of 200 damage. Like you cannot take more than 200 damage in D&D from falling. So if you have more than 200 HP, you will survive any fall, even from like a skyscraper, you would survive. Rules as written, or even if you didn't, even if you went down, you could roll a d20 on your death save throw and just get up and walk away. So there really is there's never going to be a perfect system for dealing with these kind of intricacies. The best way to deal with it is to put it on the game master and say, if you think they die, then they die. Or in D&D, it's if you and the player think that this would probably kill them, then they're dead. Currently on Campaign 2, Episode 1, I love CI. Are you watching them all the way through from the start? I think this is a copy and paste error since the Cumbersome property had -1 evasion. So now the new penalty of minus finesse being attached to the finesse weapon feels strange. Fair enough, good find, Lindsay. D6 every 10 foot, right. Yeah, yeah. Switch to Twitch. Welcome over to Twitch. Yeah, watch from the start. That is quite a journey you're going on now. Yeah. But cannot complain. Cannot complain about it at all. I think if I was going to choose a favorite part of this limited edition set, except for the gold edge on the cards, which is really freaking nice, and like the book, but like the book's the same as the normal edition. It's just the cover that's different, and I think these ribbons. I don't think if anyone has the normal edition of the book, can you tell me if you get ribbons in there? Because the ribbons are really nice, but I think the GM screen is probably my favorite part of this. The GM screen and the box itself. The box itself is like just a limited edition thing on my shelf, because I'm a collector boy, is really, really nice. The ribbons on a normal one, that's crazy. That is so good. That is so good. Was it a Kickstarter? It wasn't a Kickstarter, and we should talk about that a little bit. I have a lot more respect for Darrington Press for not kickstarting this. Now, hear me out. Nothing wrong with people who kickstart stuff, but there is an issue, especially in the TTRPG space, of companies that are well established and very profitable kickstarting products when that's not what I think Kickstarter is for. For example, if Apple decided to come out and kickstart their new iPhone, I'd be like, what are you doing? And it makes sense for them to do it because it's cheating for the company. They can figure out how popular something's going to be by kickstarting it. They can also get paid first and then make the thing. So it's less risky for them. And I would be very annoyed if Apple did that because they don't need to kickstart this stuff. They can just make it and they just do the market research. They make the ones they think they need and they go along with that. Critical Role kickstarted Vox Machina, albeit I think Vox Machina needed tons of money. Legend of Vox Machina, the Amazon Prime TV show. But this they didn't kickstart. And they just made it, and now it's out, and it's like a more, you know, if Wizards of the Coast kickstarted the new D&D edition, we'd be so mad. And I'm kind of annoyed at TTRPG people just constantly using Kickstarter. When it's like, you don't need that anymore. Leave that open for people who really do want to kickstart stuff. Like, leave it open for people who are doing it for the first time and want to know. But that's just my pet peeve. That seems wrong to be on Kickstarter. It's second edition. I think, yeah, there's no wrong or right. It's just it's safer for companies to do it on Kickstarter, but I don't think they should. What's up, Book Queen? Just complaining about Kickstarter. Don't give Watsy any ideas. Well, yeah. Why Lock did it? I'm not saying people can't do good Kickstarters. I think Kickstarters are at their best when you're making something brand new and very different, and you don't know if there is going to be demand there yet. For example, Brandon Sanderson probably has enough leverage and money to make a TTRPG just as is and sell it. But he kickstarted his latest one, and I think correctly, because he didn't know if his audience would want a TTRPG of all his books. Turns out they did. They really freaking did. So I think that's a fine Kickstarter. There is Wormwood Gaming who make gaming tables, and they're a full company with employees. They kickstart every single new table they do. Or they even like kickstart like new stuff coming out, and it, as yeah, like you said, it puts it makes the consumer do the work rather than the people behind it. And then you have the situation where they do the Kickstarter, they make a ton of money, and then no one gets to review the product until it comes out, which can take years. And often by that time, people have like forgotten about it or moved on, so you don't see... I can't remember the last time I saw like a Kickstarter come out and people give it a review score of like, it's really good or really bad or whatever. I'm sure we'll see that with stuff like DC20 and the Cosmate RPG and Draw Steel. But yeah, it's just, I don't like this Kickstarter workflow that people seem to be getting into. What's these too safe to do a Kickstarter? They make products that will profit, and that means doing the safer things, yeah. Oh, good luck with 60 other teenagers tomorrow, Book Queen. Field trip with your friends, gonna sit back and off the bus and talk about random stuff. Ah, sounds fun. I haven't been sponsored by them, right? Who? Daggerheart? No. Full disclosure. My Daggerheart journey has been. These big companies don't want to sponsor me. I've figured that out. I've come to terms with that. Full disclosure. I contacted Critical Role to see if they wanted to do a video interview. They said yes, so I got my interview with Matthew Mercer and Spencer Stark. That was great. And I also got a sponsorship on a video coming out soon with a different company who is like doing stuff, and they wanted to sponsor a different video. And I said, okay, the video is going to be about Daggerheart, and I've got to wait till I receive the box set and stuff. And then they said, oh, we might be able to get you an early copy for the review. And I was like, do it. And then I think they left it too late and it just fell apart, and I did not get that copy. So, like, I've tried to be sponsored. I've tried to be a shill. I've done everything in my power to be a shill. But no, I bought this with my own money, and Critical Role Dynasty Press are not paying me. But I should say, and this is a huge thing, and I think all YouTubers or people making content about this should say, I profit wildly from Daggerheart's success or failure, because it means I can make videos about it, and I make money from that. And I can get sponsors on those videos, and I make money from that. So there's definitely incentive for me to make videos about Daggerheart, if that makes sense. What do you think about dice? I'm torn between using different types versus just D12 or D6 for everything. Wait, what do you mean? I've not actually stepped into a Kickstarter myself. I normally just wait it out, buy it once it's out, feels safer as a consumer. Yeah, and it feels like a normal process of company makes things, I get to see a review of it, and I get to decide whether I want to buy it or not. Not company makes promise that this is good. I buy it. It comes out. Whether it's good or not, I've bought it. Do you think you'll make guides for GMing for Daggerheart specifically? If people want it. It's gonna go the same way as how I make videos. Like, if people really like my Daggerheart content and people watch the videos, then I'll make more videos about Daggerheart and I will make more supplement stuff around that as well. If people don't watch the videos, or if people watch D&D videos more, unfortunately, I'm not in a place in my career where I can afford to not make the content that makes me the most money or that most people want to watch, unfortunately. Maybe next year, if I'm making a bit more cash, I'll have the ability to be like, oh, I'm going to make this video that's only going to make me 50% of what a D&D video would make. But yeah, we'll see. Doing well so far, but obviously it's launch week, so. Yeah, we'll have to see. I hope so. I would love to be able to make D&D content and Daggerheart content, and then both be like as profitable and a good use of my time making. But that's why no one makes that much content about other TTRPGs nowadays. Why it's all D&D, D&D. Because it takes content creators a week or 2 weeks to make a video. And if they choose to make it on a topic that no one wants to watch, or no one will watch, or the algorithm won't put out, they're screwing themselves over for like a month. Some systems only use one die type. I thought DH was just going to be 12. No, Daggerheart uses the full dice system. In fact, the GM still rolls a D20, and players will roll all dice depending on their characters. But D12 will be the one that is like what the system is based on, if that makes sense. What's up? It's Red Leon James. I want to play it, but I'm the only DM in my group, and there isn't much of a community around me. I'm sorry. Start Playing has a big partnership right now where they have a ton of games masters who you can just go and book a session with and play Daggerheart with today even, or tomorrow. And anybody interested in playing Daggerheart who maybe doesn't have a group, there's that option. You can just go hire a game master and play a game. It was 840k per episode. Oh, for Vox Machina? Yeah, that's expensive. That is expensive. But yeah, so that's kind of my unboxing. Let me know if anyone does have any other questions. But I do want to check out something about Daggerheart in general. You value D&D's broad appeal and general success, creating an ecosystem of many actors who share an understanding and general knowledge, not to mention your value in its long history of lore and play. Check out the Daggerheart website. There are a lot of goodies in there. Okay, let's have a look. Daggerheart. What is it? Daggerheart.com? It is. Hop into Daggerheart, launch games at FLGS, and online at Start Playing. There you go. Places you can get to those places and play a game. Age of Umbra is coming out on Thursday. Very excited for that. downloads. Oh, here you go. So yeah, people asking if they can get like the start guide for free and stuff. It looks like I just did. Let's have a look at this. Alright, cool. Yes, so the character sheets that I got in my thing printed out, you can get them all for free as a PDF. And does it have the stuff at the end? No, it does not. I was hoping it would have the cheat sheets. But still, all the character sheets are here for free that you can play around with. Additional sheets. This might be what I'm after. It is. Yeah, it's got everything right there. So you can like absolutely get in there and download that and play around with the game now to some degree. Alright, Buck Queen, have a good one. Bonus action is a cookie accept confirmed. You know what, Laventy, that went through my head. I was like, it's telling me to if I should accept or not. And I was like, there's people watching. And I was like, I normally would say no, but I don't want to. I'm just going to say yes. I'm going to come across as a cookie acceptor. Yeah, print and play cards, print some maps. It's very cool. Additional sheets were they're just like play guides and stuff. You can just go to Daggerheart.com and have a look. What I did want to look at were the trailer.
Welcome to Daggerheart, a collaborative tabletop role-playing game of epic and heartfelt adventure with narrative-driven play punctuated by fast-paced and dynamic combat. What sets Daggerheart apart? Enjoy a robust set of cards that bring character abilities to your fingertips and make for easy character progression. There are also collaborative tools and mechanics that encourage everyone at the table to be a storyteller. And of course, dice. Players roll 2d12, one representing hope, the other fear, and let the dice decide their fate. Depending on the higher die, hope or fear is gained, fueling dramatic highs and lows of your story.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to describe in a short amount of time exactly how these dice and how like the play loop works. But I think once you do it once or twice, it becomes very easy to understand.
Whether you're a player or game master, you only need the singular book to get started in Daggerheart. Our lavishly illustrated hard...
That was a dig at D&D. You just need one book to get started. You do not need 380-page core rule books, each one at like 60 bucks to get started with.
Cover rules come chock full of guidelines for creating characters and shared worlds, for building adventures, and for crafting encounters and campaigns as a game master. Dynamic adversaries and environments to challenge your characters. Detailed advice on GM craft, player best practices, campaign building, and more. Daggerheart comes with 279 illustrated cards, so you can easily customize your characters. The cards showcase your character's ancestry, community, subclass, and domains, all of which power their abilities. You gain greater access to those as you level up. World building can be done in several ways to kickstart your adventures. Rather than a single setting, Daggerheart provides tools.
The cards are very cool, but they are... I don't think they're as necessary as like the game would have you believe.
Tools for you to easily create the world of your story as a group, tying in characters' backstories and reflecting the mark of each player. Or start playing right away by diving into one of our ready-to-play campaign frames, like the Witherwild or Colossus of the Drylands, and tweak them so they're uniquely yours. Daggerheart is calling. What stories await you?
Lorenzi, look, the cards are very cool. I like them a lot. But I just think about the future. Every time they release a new class or ancestry or anything, they have to release cards with it. It's just going to become a norm, and it's just it may come cumbersome. It may become cumbersome because as someone who collects this stuff, I'm going to end up with like freaking so many cards that I might as well be playing Magic the Gathering. There you go. And also, we have a How to Play Daggerheart from Matthew Mercer that came out an hour ago. And a Daggerheart review from the character sheet, which I'm interested in watching as well. Because I'm working on my own review right now. And I've kind of finished the script of it. I've got a few more things to check. I kind of know where I stand on Daggerheart. The thing we've not spoken about is the adversaries, which is like their version of like the monster manual part of the book. They have a really cool way of balancing encounters, a really cool way, to the point where one of my issues with D&D is balancing a monster, like getting the right monsters to match your group's level is very freaking hard. And if you don't do it well, you have three options. Either you let the monster just total party kill your characters. Two, you let your characters just absolutely destroy your monster. Or one, you like add and change stuff on the fly, which a lot of people don't like. With Daggerheart, there's multiple things. So the first is like there's a system called these battle points, which allow you to kind of choose how many players you have, choose how long you want the encounter to last, and choose how hard you want to make the encounter. And then that gets transferred into a point system that allows you to choose monsters to match that point level, if that makes sense. But fundamentally, you can really balance your encounters easily with that, depending on amount of players, amount of difficulty, and amount of time you want the encounter to last. And then on top of all that, you can balance encounters on the fly for free, which I love. So, for example, if I am in if my players are in like combat with one of my monsters and they're destroying the monster, I can just use more fear to make the monster more powerful, to take more moves and make the game harder. It's harder to do the other way. It's harder to make the combat easier. But the reality is the game's kind of made so that the DM is like using fear all the time anyway. So you can just use less fear, and suddenly the monster becomes easier to deal with. And I love that. It's like two sides of the balance. It's like, okay, balance in prep. And if the balance in prep isn't quite right, even though it's very detailed, you can balance during the encounter. You think the cards make the game more appealing to new players and are very helpful reference sheets? Yes, I agree. I like the cards. I don't know if it. I wish they were like an add-on option situation. Richpad, hello. How's it going? Hey guys, what exactly is Daggerheart Nexus? Would that help me play with my friends online? Is it some kind of VTT? Daggerheart Nexus is so here's how I understand it. I could be wrong. Daggerheart has teamed up with Demiplane, which is a character sheet book reading website, and I think they've been bought by Roll20 now, so it's all kind of connected. I would say that Demiplane Nexus right now is the best place to have character sheets and create characters for Daggerheart. That's kind of where its strength lies. But I don't know what they're planning for the future with it. There's something special on the community tab? Okay. Wait, what are you talking about? There's the SRD? Wait. Oh, so anyone... oh, anyone can go and kind of just get the basic rules for free on Daggerheart.com, which is class. Is that what you talked about? Yeah. And they've got the community gaming license up here as well, which is just, once again, good faith, Critical Role. I am homebrewing Daggerheart, and I want to sell the final product based on a Daggerheart core set. Can I do that? Yes, you can sell your homebrew Daggerheart-based product, but only if it's built using Daggerheart System Document 1, not the full rulebook. And you fully... Alright, okay. So yeah, it's very similar to D&D there. Very cool. I'm going to make my own Daggerheart stuff. Because I can. Can I upload videos of a campaign I'm running using Daggerheart or Candle Obscura? Yes, you absolutely can. Can I live stream an unboxing of it? No, you cannot. No, you can. I can. I'm safe. I'm absolutely safe. Very cool. You already used demo playing for Pathfinder 2, so having Daggerheart Nexus would be great. Yeah. Do you like it? Do you like demo playing for that? Alright, let's check out this how to play that came out an hour ago from Matthew Mercer.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of Get Your Sheet Together, a video series we've made to assist you on your journey into Daggerheart. Today we're going to talk about the game's core mechanics. We'll teach you what you need to know to jump into your first game of Daggerheart as a player. So, let's get started. Whenever you do something in the narrative that could have consequences, such as leaping across a chasm, deceiving a bounty hunter, casting a complicated spell, or attacking an adversary, you'll make an action roll. Now this is the main type of roll you'll be making in Daggerheart. When you do, you'll...
I'm just gonna get some water, but I'm listening. This is not lazy content, okay? I'm listening to it, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna react to what he said, okay? I'm not just walking away and playing Critical Role. And making you all watch it. I'll be back in 20 seconds.
Use a set of dice called your duality dice. These are a pair of d12s of different colors, with one representing hope and the other representing fear. You roll both dice and add their results together, along with any modifiers you have from your traits and experiences. Then, you look at which duality die rolled higher. In this case, I rolled a 15, and my hope die is higher than my fear die, meaning I rolled a 15 with hope. Now, if my fear die had been higher, I would have rolled a 15.
He rolled a 15 with hope. Okay, I was listening the whole time.
With fear instead. When you roll with hope, even if you fail at the action you were attempting, things don't go as badly as they could, and you gain a hope, which is a resource you can spend throughout the game to help allies or power cool abilities. A success with hope is a fantastic thing. Now, when you roll with fear, the GM gains a fear, and your character may run into some complications that come with the action you are attempting, even if you succeed. A failure with fear is an ominous portent indeed, for the GM gets a fear and the consequences of failure arise. And rolling doubles on any number is a critical success. Double ones, double 12s, and everything in between. On a critical success, you succeed spectacularly, and you'll also gain a hope.
This is a small thing, but this is something that I keep forgetting about. And this is a part, like, if someone crits, I'm going to forget to tell them to clear a stress. Like, every single time, I'm going to forget about this.
And clear a stress. There are also a few other types of...
You can't see, Phil. You're facing away. Matt is prettier than you. You can see Matt.
Rolls you should know about.
I can see what you're saying.
Damage rolls occur when you succeed on an attack against your opponent, whether weapon or spell. Add all of your damage dice together along with any modifiers and deal that much damage to your target. Reaction rolls are made as a response or a reaction to dangerous events as dictated by the GM. Often when an adversary attack or environmental danger occurs that relies more on your ability to shrug it off, you might make a reaction roll. These work just like action rolls, but they don't generate any hope or fear. So, now that you have all this hope, what do you do with it? Well, hope can be used in many ways that support you and your party. You can help an ally, utilize an experience, initiate a tag team role, or activate your class's hope feature. We'll talk more about these options in upcoming videos. Your evasion, which can be found on the top left of your character sheet, is what you use to determine your ability to avoid attacks and other unwanted effects. Your GM will be rolling against this number when adversaries...
Can you opt out clearing a stress? Some actions use stress. I bet yes. I think I've not read that in the book officially, but yeah, I would. If I was a GM, I'd be like, of course you can.
Series make attacks against you. What happens when they're successful? You're probably marking hit points. These represent the physical injuries your character endures when they're hit by an adversary or hurt themselves traversing difficult environments. The number of hit points you mark is determined by your damage thresholds. They can be found right above hit points on your character sheet. Now, damage you take may be...
There's an optional rule in the book, which I think I'm going to start using, which is they have the minor damage threshold, the major damage threshold, the severe damage threshold, and they have another one that you can put in here. I can't remember what they call it. It's like like insanely extreme damage. It's not what they call it, but just imagine it's catastrophic damage. Maybe that might be what they call it. And that is like if your players double the amount of damage that you would get in severe damage, they take 4 HP. Super mega damage, yeah. And I prefer that. And then I think if they double that, you just flat out die. I like that whole idea. I just added that last one myself as like a homebrew rule, but I kind of like the idea of that. So that if you do fall 1,000 feet and take a ton of damage, then you die, fundamentally.
A minor, major,
Ludicrous
or severe,
damage.
causing you to mark 1, 2, or 3 hit points respectively. So let's say your character has a major threshold of 8 and a severe threshold of 16. If they take 9 damage, that would be considered major damage, which marks 2 hit points. Thresholds are meets it beats it, so 8 damage would still be major, but 7 or below would be minor. There's no math here. All you have to do is compare the numbers, figure out where it falls in your thresholds, and mark your...
I think the stuff that they talk about the most in these kind of videos are the stuff that they got the most kickback on, I think, or like what they're scared about the most. And the damage threshold stuff is hard to describe to someone, but I cannot stress enough from when I played, once you do it and you can see your character sheet, it's set, you don't have to remember anything, it's on your character sheet what you need to do. It's much easier, and I prefer it way more than playing D&D with a character who has 70 HP. I hate dealing with those high numbers. So the idea that like a player only has 5 HP, but you can still throw out high damage is nice to me.
Beats it, so 8 damage would still be major, but 7 or below would be minor. There's no math here. All you have to...
Does a crit work even if the total would be a failure? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Once you crit on a dice, if you get 2 1s, you've succeeded, and you get a hope. And the best possible thing happens, and you clear a stress. Don't forget about the clear the stress part, because I will, all the time.
What to do is compare the numbers, figure out where it falls in your thresholds, and mark your hit points. Now that we've talked about thresholds, we can discuss armor. Your armor score and the shield symbol next to evasion represents how many armor slots you have available to use. The armor slots are represented by the smaller shields beside your armor score. If you get hit with an attack...
I think anyone who like says that Daggerheart is like a lot less crunchy and rules light than D&D hasn't really looked at this stuff, because this is where players really get to dig into a lot of systems they have to help them in the game. And dealing with armor slots is one of those systems that makes things more complex and can be hard to get your head around at the start as well.
You can spend 1 armor slot to reduce the...
That video, yeah, this video came out. I see what you mean. I am hiding his face. That's fine. He won't mind.
Damage by 1 threshold. Severe to major, major to minor, minor to nothing. Now you can only spend 1 armor slot per incoming damage, so you might not be able to avoid all the damage, but it will help. When it's time for you to attack, how do you know who you can hit? Daggerheart measures most distances by...
I do wonder why we complicate damage to then simplify it. Why not use simple damage to start? It's a good question. It's a good question from Matt or Spencer. I wish I had that when I did my interview with them. I think it's probably twofold. I think, one, you're rolling dice to do damage, and if you only ever wanted to do like 1, 2, or 3 damage on average, you'd have to only roll d4s, no more. So it's kind of like you get to roll bigger dice, and you also get to like level up exponentially and do way more damage without like throwing out those HP numbers, if that makes sense. And the other side of it is players like rolling high damage. They don't like taking high damage. And I think that's the real reason they've done this. A player gets to roll and do 60 damage and feel really good about themselves. And then when the GM rolls against them and does 60 damage back, they only take 3 HP. It's like nicer.
Range. These are approximate distances that help to give everybody a sense of where things are in your environment. There's melee. If you're using minis, they're touching.
This is well edited. I like this.
Very close, or the short side of a card. Close, or the length.
I will say, I understand why they've done this. I don't like this. Just give me distance so I can look at squares on a battle mat and play like that, because I prefer to play like that. I get why they've done it. I know everyone plays differently, but for me, I'm not going to use this. I'm going to convert this to distance into feet, and 1 square is going to be 5 feet, because I've been brainwashed by D&D at this point. So a person in leather versus full plate are different damage from the same roll. A person in leather versus... in fact, that's... Here, let me get the book back out. I believe it's just how many armor slots you have, meaning that a person in like plate armor compared to leather would be able to negate more damage if they chose to. But I can tell you exactly the difference of each armor. When I find it. There it is. So when you're level 1, you can have one of 4 pieces of armor. Gamson armor, if I'm saying that right, leather armor, chainmail armor, and full plate armor. So it affects your thresholds. So technically, full plate armor would give you more health in like a roundabout way. It would give you more health than leather armor, but it would give you -2 to evasion and -1 to agility. So it's a trade-off. Less health, but you can move faster and you can like dodge better. So I like that system. Leather armor doesn't really do anything. It's just a base thing. It gives you 3 armor slots. Full plate armor, it really is your tanky. You are not moving and you can take more and you can negate more. Some of the armors in the higher tiers are really cool. Listen to this. This is Veritas Opal armor. It's got a truth-seeking feature. This armor glows when another creature within close range tells a lie. So cool. It's also really good armor. That might be like the best armor in the game. Second best. No, best. There's only one better than it, and that's Savior armor. But it has a feature called Difficult, which is -1 to all character traits and evasion. So you can wear it and you can have more health and negate more damage than any other armor in the game, but everything else has like a -1 to it. It's cool. It's fun. You like the armor now is what Sim Special instead of class? Yeah, and it means people can switch out armor throughout the game and like change like their stats a little bit and have some fun with that.
Very close, or the short side of a card. Close, or the length of a standard number 2 pencil. Far, or the length of a piece of paper. Very far is anything longer than a sheet of paper. And out of range, something that's typically too far away to be targeted. Next, let's talk about the stress mechanic. It represents your character's
Don't be committing cardinal sins then, Lorenzo.
mental and physical strain. Some spells and abilities will require you to mark a stress to use them.
So armors have different armor slots. Different amounts of armor slots. Yes, they do. They give different types. And when you take a long rest, if you have to choose to like fix your armor. I think you can do two things during a long rest. I think one of them's always going to be heal yourself up, and the other thing is going to be fix your armor slots. But if you don't want to do one of those things, there's other things you can do, which I can't remember off the top of my head what they are right now.
And the GM might inflict stress as a consequence for dangerous actions. If you are ever forced to mark one or more stress, but your slots are full, you must mark one hit point instead. In a fight, you're almost certainly going to get a little hurt. But don't worry, you can use downtime to recover hit points and stress you may have taken on your journey, so you'll be right.
Like you can spend the whole time repairing your armor doing it twice, right? I think you only need to spend one of those slots on repairing your armor on a long rest. I don't know about a short rest. Ken Shenimura, thank you so much for the subscription. How's it going? We subscribed for 2 months. Huge. For short rest, it's the same, but without the project option, and every option is less effective, yeah. When you take a hit point from full stress, do you clear your stress? Alex Chaz, I'm gonna say yes, but I can be proven wrong on that one. But I'm pretty sure you do, yeah.
Right as rain for your next encounter. During a short rest, you can swap domain cards into your loadout and then choose 2 options. Tend to wounds, which helps you heal hit points, clear stress, which removes some of your stress, repair armor, which gets you back some of your armor slots, or prepare, which gains you hope. A long rest is similar, but instead of some of your armor slot, clear stress, and then choose 2 options. Tend to wounds, which helps you heal hit points, clear
is this only one
stress,
hit point and
which
one
removes
stress?
some of your stress, repair armor, which gets you back some of your armor slots, or prepare, which gains you hope. A long rest is similar, but instead you can tend to all wounds, clear all stress, repair all armor, prepare, or work on a project. This could be something like...
Oh, preparing sucks. You prepare on a short rest, you get 1 hope. You prepare on a long rest, you get 1 hope. Oof.
Like deciphering an ancient text or crafting a new weapon. Now, you only get 2 options, whether it's a long or short rest, so choose wisely. We hope this has given you a quick look into the core mechanics for Daggerheart. To learn everything in more detail, go pick up the core rulebook for yourself, or borrow a friend's, or even go learn more at Daggerheart.com. We'll see you next time you gotta get your sheet together.
Get your sheet together.
Get your sheet together is great. Wait, that's the name of the video. That didn't even occur to me until he said it out loud. Get your sheet together is a great name for a series. Phenomenal. Lorenzo, you want to show me something? What is it? Glad to see you do a vid with Matt Mercer. Actually, super proud of that. Thank you. You know, that's my second video I've done with Matthew Mercer. I was worried that because I did one last year and I was like, is he going to even remember who I am? Is he going to even know who I am? And he's so friendly and so cool that, like, he's one of those, it's dangerous because you walk away thinking, wow, I'm best friends with Matthew Mercer now. And you're not. But he's just that kind of person, you know? New play test feel it doesn't work yet, but it's that. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, he remembered. He said he remembered me. And I believe him. The guy follows me on Twitter. There's no need to follow me on Twitter. I have like 500 followers on Twitter. I'm such a no one. And he's one of my followers, which is wild. So stress is page 92. Looks like when it starts overflowing into HP damage, it does not clear the stress damage. So it can dogpile. Hold on. Let's have a look, Greg. All right. Let's teamwork rules lawyer this. So you're saying it does not clear 92. Because I would not have played it like that. Blue Cottage D&D, thank you for the raid. How's it going? I'm just reading a book right now. We're rules lawyering. I'm trying to work out how stress works. Actually, now that I think about it, though, guys, I think that's how stress should work. I think I'm wrong, because that makes sense. Why would you clear your stress after taking damage? It should be getting worse. Thank you for the follow, guys. Thank you. Second paragraph of marking stress. If you're ever forced to mark one or more stress, but your slots are already full, you must instead mark 1 hit point. Yes. For example, if an adversary forces you to mark 3 stress, but your stress is already filled, you instead mark 1 hit point. If you would take 2 stress from an enemy, and you have 1 stress left, you would mark 1 stress and 1 hit point. Right. It's like a cup that is overflowing with water. And every time it overflows, you take damage. But the cup doesn't empty when you take damage. It stays overflowing. So you have to manage that stress. You have to get the stress down somehow. Either short rest, long rest, rolling a crit. Okay, that's cool. Okay, I think that's cooler. I really like the idea of that. Man. Whew. Also, the weirdest thing I'm going to say, but I think you'll know what I mean and agree with me. This book smells phenomenally nice. That new book smell is real. Sounds like it could snowball quickly. I think, yeah, it's kind of like exhaustion, right? Like, it's gonna be there, and you have to manage it, and you can't just keep going because it's gonna shoot you in the foot. Well, you've heard from all your friends that the new book smell is legit. They like, do they spray it with something? Why does it smell like that? Why do new books smell like that? What's the deal there? Is it just because it's been locked in a box for weeks and it's just been fermenting? Are there spells that reduce stress? Potentially. I've not looked at all the spells. Well, this is a pleasant surprise. Love your content. Thank you, Triple. How's it going? It smells almost as good as Outgunned Adventure. I don't know what the Outgunned Adventure is, but if it smells that good, then good for it. All right, Lorenzo, catch you later. It's the paper. It has lingering wood smell. Whew. Trees don't smell like that. All right. I also wanted to check out. Now this is real. This is real content you're about to see. This is professional reactor streamer content. I am working on my own review right now. This review is not going to shift my review. It could if they have really good points. But we can watch Character Sheet's review of Daggerheart, and we can go through, and I'll tell you what I agree with and what I don't agree with in general. But just to give you an idea of where I stand before we look at this review, just so you know, I think it's very, very good. I do not think it's for everyone. I think it's for half the TTRPG population. I think the other half will have more fun playing something that is more tactical and has a lot more structure and a lot more rules. And I think the half of the TTRPG population that will like this are the people who like role-playing, who like having a laid-back approach at the table, and there's still enough mechanics for them to dig their teeth into. But it's not the end of the world if someone does something outside the rules of the game. It's not the end of the world. It's also good for improvisers. And in a weird way, the weirdest thing about this is I feel like it's really good for players who also think it would be fun to GM. Like, if a player is like, oh, one day I would love to be a game master, then playing this, you get a little taste of game mastering, because it does ask the players to give more to the world and story than something like D&D. So let's check out this. Lou Ruffin also mentions the new book smell on her video. Yeah, it smells great. Look up Outgunned. I'll do that later, Greg. Let's do an actual play and call it a total sheet show. Oh, shall we? Maybe not today, but maybe in a few days I'll stream again, and we could do playing Daggerheart with stream. And chat can like roll. We'll get on a demi plane, and you guys can roll. I'll roll for you, and we can play a little session of Daggerheart. That might be fun. That might be a fun. It obviously wouldn't be the same as sitting around a table, because I'm playing with 20 people over chat. But I think it'd be a fun way to dig into the mechanics and see what works for us and what doesn't. Anyway, for now, let's check out this review.
The Daggerheart core set officially releases today. So have Critical Role and Darrington Press made a massive mess or a modern masterpiece out of their new TTRPG system?
Hi, Greg.
We'll bring you our brutally honest review to help you find out.
Reveal the truth.
Before we dive into the review of one of the biggest new TTRPG systems in years, why not take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help us keep content like this video coming. And then, let's talk some Daggerheart. We've had our copy of the Daggerheart core set for a little over a week, and have had time to read it cover to cover, sort through all the cards, and marinate on our thoughts a little before this review. And after taking some time, we've decided the best way to break up this review is in 3 parts: quality, mechanics, and audience appeal. And if you're curious about my
Quality, mechanics, and audience appeal. I kind of disagree with audience appeal a little bit, because I don't think that matters if it's a good game or not. It depends how they handle audience appeal. If it's about how easy it is to like describe it to your friends and get them to play, that's one thing. But if they're talking about whether or not like critical role playing is going to make it a success or not, then that's got nothing to do with how good the game is. That's like outside of it.
My credentials to give such review, I'd say 2 things very quickly. 1, never take anyone's opinion about a work like this as facts, mine included, as we encourage you to make your own decisions and choices and simply use this as a bit of a guide to the process. And 2, the biggest problem I have in my game room at the moment is that my giant beholder is obscuring the view of my wall full of maps of all my favorite fantasy role-playing settings. His name is Bumpy Steve, and he's a very good boy. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about quality. Daggerheart's core set is made to an extremely high standard in terms of the materials, the layout of the book, and even the packaging of everything in the core set. While it may not be quite as breathtakingly beautiful as the upcoming Cosmere RPG books, it comes very, very close, which is an incredible achievement for this being
We've not seen, unless he has seen the Cosmic RPG books.
their first full-fledged TTRPG system. Sorry, Candela, but even Critical Role pitched you as more of an offshoot of the greater Illuminated World system than a standalone book. The art in the book is top-notch, and frankly, some of the pieces are even better than what we've seen from D&D.
Yeah, the art in this book really does. The D&D new core rule books have phenomenal art as well, and the way they all talked in the D&D marketing material was that they were like making the images to help inspire players and have them do something other than just be pretty art. They wanted to actually affect the players in some way, or the GM in some way. Daggerheart does the same thing. And the way it has, I talked about earlier, so many different illustrations for each ancestry is phenomenally cool and really made me think about each ancestry in a different way. And then the way it portrays images are like a lot of the time, a lot of the images are either story driven or characters helping other characters, which makes you feel like, oh, as a player, I should be helping other players. Or, oh, as a GM, I should be like making these really interesting scenarios. So this fused cleric and paladin makes sense. Yeah, they did. There's no real healer in the classes. There's one subclass, which is the druid subclass, which says that it's about healing, but there's no like straight up class like cleric here, which is interesting. And a couple of different subclasses also have healing abilities built in as well.
In the last few years. And the layout itself goes from clean, familiar, and easy to read tables full of items, equipment, and the like, to fun new twists on the layout of the pages for things like ancestries, where you get these beautiful full-color images surrounded by sketches of...
Yeah, so what I was talking about, like the idea that I was going in thinking I'm never going to play a ribbit, for example. I'm never going to play one of these frog people. But then, like, on the top right here, which my face is covering, which I can do away with that for a second. Right here, they have like a more lean frog person, and then there's an image for the sorcerer, which is like one of these with a staff, and he's like the avatar, and he looks so cool. And I'm like, oh, I don't have to play it like this freaking monocled frog guy down here. I can play it as a really cool, lean, like a very cool silhouette of like Greninja style. Yeah, it really opened my mind. And then to look at all these different orc faces that you can have as well, and different body types, it's like, it really makes you think about making something unique. So props to them for that. They did a great job there.
Of those ancestries in a way that we haven't really seen done before.
What? They were just live and announced they have added online materials for Fighter and Warlock. Oh, okay. A frog from Chrono Trigger. I don't know what that looks like, but if it's a cool looking frog, I'm in.
The entire book is also beautifully organized by color-coded tabs on the side, something we would often associate with Pathfinder and Paizo books, and it makes navigating the book substantially easier. And the cover and the pages are both sturdy and high quality and feel firmly bound to the center spine, even with the book left wide open. The cards are made of a thick, durable cardstock that has a pleasant matte finish and just enough texture to not slip out of your hands easily. And the packaging of the holder for those cards, even in the standard edition, is equally high quality.
See, this is the holder I wish I had. I'm kind of bummed that, like, not that I don't like my... Not that I don't like my beautiful box here, but these cards look like they fit in and slot in much nicer than what I've got, unfortunately. It just came from the Live Critical Role announcement. Did you cover the card edits yet? Chris, you know more than I do. You know more than I do. I'm going to watch... Wait, was it live? Or is the video there? Now that I can watch. You might have to fill me in about it, Chris, because I don't know what you're talking about.
And robust. The art on both the cards and in the book itself is the clear standout of this release, as Critical Role and Darrington spared no expense on hiring some of the best talent in the industry to create stunning visuals for nearly every page and on every card. Yeah. And speaking of art, it appears that Critical Role doesn't hold a grudge for Archon the Cruel, aka Joe Manganiello, after stealing the hand of Vecna and becoming the one major antagonist to really get one over on the cast and get away with it. As if you look at the art on the Seraph page, their version of the Paladin, which was the class of Archon the Cruel, that sure looks exactly like Joe Manganiello. So
I guess so. I'd never put those two together. Yeah, fair enough. Spencer Stark claims it's actually based on Chris Christopherson. You be the judge. I feel like if the game designer says it's based on someone else, we go with that, right?
So it seems like they decided to let bygones be
Looks
bygones.
like the live stream just finished. God damn it, I missed it.
That said, the quality here is top-notch, equaling if not exceeding the standard we expect from big companies like Paizo and Wizards of the Coast, so we have to give the quality rating a 5 out of 5 for that. Next, let's talk mechanics. Do the core rules of Daggerheart really work? Is there a lack of equipment, items, or spells, the way that we saw with D&D 5th edition on launch? And basically, does the system simply make sense and achieve its goal of offering a slightly streamlined but still deeply evocative and engaging encounter system? This is a bit tricky because
I think the encounter system isn't... I think it's very different. I don't think it's just slightly streamlined. I think it's a very different way of playing the game.
Because of how Darrington Press has chosen to address the quote-unquote crunch of their system. For those Pathfinder and D&D 3.5 fans out there expecting a super streamlined system...
Yeah, a card editor creator, you can put your own character art on cards and print them out. That's so freaking cool. You can do anything and everything to the cards. It's amazing. Okay, I'll be playing around with that once it's released. It'll go live on June 6th. The card editor will go live on June 6th. They announced the custom card is available on the 6th. Very cool. Wait, what are we in now? We're in May. Yeah, we're in May. Okay, cool. So in a couple of weeks.
System with little to no options, complex mechanics, or interesting ability
Live stream highlights, Q&A, and art review. Then announcement of The Void for playtesting, future stuff, and then finally card editor announcement video. Okay. Any interesting questions and answers that came up?
Combinations, you will instead find that while the base classes themselves, with only their 2 core archetypes to choose from, may perhaps be a bit too limited.
Now, look, when I was trying to do my review for this book, I was basing a lot of stuff on my my reviews of the D&D core rule books, because I was putting them, like, I was looking at this book, I was looking at Daggerheart in general, and I was comparing it to D&D more than anything else. And I was pretty disappointed in the amount of classes and subclasses in the book. Tons of ancestries, tons of communities, really like all that stuff. But classes and subclasses, I did not like how there was only 2 subclasses for each one. And how many classes there were, because you've got so much character customization in the D&D books. However, the D&D book had to be split into 3 core rulebooks. So really, it's not a good comparison to have at all. They've actually done quite well getting so many classes and subclasses into this one book, rather than what D&D did with 3 books, if that makes sense. And it does open up a lot of room for them to release new classes and subclasses in the future, which I'm excited for. But yeah, I must admit, when I was looking through, I was like, oh, I wish there was like maybe 3 subclasses for each class. Just one more subclass for each class would have been nice. Burbsen, hello.
It was streamlined at launch. All
They also announced 2 playtest classes in the live stream. Oh man, how long was this live stream?
the crunch you get comes within the domain cards instead. Darrington has decided that the domain system, which sees you mixing and matching your abilities through the 2 domains tied to your class.
This is Daggerheart 1E. D&D is on its 5th, kind of 6th edition. It is, but... And I appreciate that and I understand where you're coming from, Prince. But I don't think it's an excuse for lack of content, if that makes sense. Because while you could argue it's an excuse, D&D 5th edition 2024 was still like a complete kind of reset. And I think we should treat every edition as if it's the 1st edition, if that makes sense. They're still putting the same amount of work in, I would say. Where the argument has legs is the idea that D&D didn't have to do as much work because they weren't creating it from the ground up. And that is true. I won't argue with you there. I will not argue with you there. But adding subclasses, I'm not asking for like really complex mechanics or anything like that. I was disappointed with the amount of subclasses. Very slightly. I still love it. If I was going to be critical, it would be there.
Is where all of their crunch will wind up. And some very mechanically interesting combos can be found in them, allowing for some very tailored...
Maybe it's let people get used to the new system. As your video earlier with Martin Spencer said, more to come. Yeah, no, I think the reason why there weren't as many as I would have liked is because the book was full. The book is full of stuff, of really good stuff, and they ran out of room, potentially, or they... I'm sure there's many number of things. I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing. It's a very understandable thing because they're putting it all in one book. And yes, more to come, more to be excited for. It's not like I can't get years of playtime out of what they've already put in the book. You know, I'm not complaining about that. It's just coming from D&D. I was like, oh, only 2 bards? Oh, but it is what it is.
And customized characters once you have a couple levels under your belt. Now, having these all as cards instead of table after table in a rules book that you would need to reference.
Let's see what he says. Because I think the cards are pretty unnecessary in the grand scheme of things. And this game could exist without the cards very easily if they decided to. And play very similarly. So let's see what I think.
Does make the game more accessible and still provide that necessary complexity that many TTRPG veterans crave. But we do admit that there are some fans who simply will not be on board because the idea of a card-based system just won't appeal to them. And that is one of the sacrifices Daggerheart appears prepared.
I just don't think it's a card-based system in the grand scheme of things because you can just have another character sheet and have this stuff written down on the character sheet. Like the cards aren't doing anything that makes them have to be cards. So, and making it more easily accessible is, I'm very worried. Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm worried about in 5 years' time when they've released multiple books and I've got them all, I'm just going to have 1,000 cards for this game and sorting through them is going to be an absolute pain.
To make the onboarding process with their new system easier for fans of all knowledge levels. But more on that in the audience appeal section here in a second.
Hold on, my chat's being weird. Burbsen, hello. Yeah, my chat stopped moving. Looks like the editor is there, huh? Live stream was an hour. I think they'll be adding a lot more stuff if they already playtesting more stuff publicly. I have no doubt they'll be adding more stuff, no doubt. And I'm sure it'll be great stuff. Cool Cylinder, have a good one. Maybe restricted to let people get used to the new system. Yep, yeah. Wait, what is my chat doing? I already read that. Hold on. I may have missed what people are saying. If it's a question, feel free to repeat it. Yeah, I think the cards are useful for folk that need more tactile stuff. I wasn't against them, but they won me over. I like playing with them. I prefer playing with them. I just... they're going to make more money from cards. That I'm going to say it. They are simply going to make more money because they have cards rather than just releasing books in the future. They just are. It's a good idea for profit, as well as all the good things that come with it.
The Hope and Fear system now has more examples on how GMs can interact with their fear accumulation, and honestly, the D12 system is a welcome change just because for those math nerds out there, it adds curving to the results of the dice roll, instead of the pure randomness of a single D20. So certain rolls become more likely, in this case 13 being the most common result, and then everything getting incrementally more rare the further away from 13 you get in either direction, which can now in turn...
So I'm aware of this curve situation with the with 2 D12s versus 1 D20 and how they are different. I don't talk about it in my review. And the only reason I'm not going to talk about it in my review, which is hopefully coming out by the end of this week, if not start of next week, the only reason I don't really talk about it is because I played around with it and it doesn't feel like it makes a difference. And it just doesn't feel like it makes big enough difference to like call it out. But it is there. It is a thing. And apparently it's supposed to be good.
And allow you to better plan your turns and have a better grasp of your likelihood of success on attacks and ability, because you'll have a more reliable outcome to go off of. While we would have liked to see maybe one more archetype.
The India spell cards too, to be fair. Yeah, they do, but they're not like in the core rulebook, you know? You don't buy them with the player's handbook. They're an optional thing that people prefer to play with. Many people prefer to play with, but they're not like the standard. I think that's my issue with it. Not an issue either. I'm just... You're going to put me into a corner now. Love the system. It's great.
For each of the Daggerheart classes, the wealth of options you get from your communities, ancestries, and domain cards gives you an incredible amount of customization in a way that is still very easy to understand and track. And the 2D12 system works as intended for fast combat and encounters, while also providing some fun narrative stakes to every roll. The cards will still be a bit divisive for some fans, no matter how well done they are, but mechanically we give Daggerheart a very strong 4 out of 5. And finally, let's...
Solid. 4 out of 5 is solid. Mechanically, it's going to come down to preference of play. I genuinely, for me, mechanically, the system works. The system works. Everything put into place works. It might come out that there are some broken things in the future after a long time of playing it. But as it is now, there's a lot of moving parts to it, and they all gel really well together, and it's very impressive.
Talk about the target audience of Daggerheart. As seen by clever Easter eggs like the Joe Manganiello Seraph art, this is the game that happily acknowledges its Critical Role roots, but that also provides enough crunch and mechanics and customization to appeal to veteran TTRPG players of all stripes, fans and non-fans alike, while making it more accessible in the form of easy-to-reference and sort cards for those new fans who maybe haven't even played in a TTRPG before. The book also does a great job of balancing expansive tables of items, weapons, and more that get those old-school TTRPG veterans' blood pumping, with some big, beautiful art layouts throughout the book to keep it all visually appealing for the newer players. Daggerheart does a good job of seeming simple on the surface while gradually opening up with more.
The card editor will let you save your own cards as PDF, so you won't be forced to pay to print them. That's nice. Yeah, that is true, Chris. Yeah. I shouldn't be calling it a way to make more money when they are giving like your freedom to create them yourself. That's very true. My personal biggest gripe is the lack of adversary variety. You have to homebrew pretty hard, and the homebrew guidelines are a bit vague. I like the homebrew guidelines, though. And I should say it's the same situation. It's all in one book. I'm hoping they're going to release a adversary book, like their version of a monster manual. My issue with the adversaries is there's no lore. There's barely any real information about the worlds that these creatures inhabit and the communities they come from and their biology. And that's a big pity for me, but I understand it because this book's not about that. This book is like, hey, here's what you need to play the game. And I'm really hoping sooner rather than later we'll see like a monster manual that really builds out these creatures and monsters and bad guys in really interesting ways.
More and more options. To a degree, it can almost be overwhelming once you hit the highest level.
How would you personally rate Daggerheart overall out of 5 after initial impressions versus 5e 2014 and 5e 2024. Okay, so initial impressions only. I would rate Daggerheart, and this is just the system. Okay, I'm not looking at like I'm not looking at stuff around the system. I'm not looking at politics or the fact that the Pinkertons are involved in some way. Purely on the system and like how fun it is or would be to play at tables. I think D&D 2014, the one that came out over 10 years ago, is a 3.5 out of 5. And I think D&D 2024 is a 4 out of 5. And I think Daggerheart is as good as D&D 2024, meaning it's a 4 out of 5. I think it's very, very good. I think they're as good as each other. But I'm also willing to kind of push both up to a 4.5 out of 5. Because I think they're great. I think they're both just beautifully made and put together and awesome. But if you ask me which one I would prefer to GM, because that's a big one. If I was going to game master a game, which one would I prefer? Right now, it's Daggerheart. But I don't know if that's just because it's new and shiny and it's a novelty, and that might change in the future. But I feel more stress DMing D&D than I do GMing Daggerheart. Daggerheart feels like there's less emphasis on the GM. It shares the responsibility with the players for almost everything. So the players are like building the world with the GM. The players are helping the GM out in a lot of ways with a lot of stuff. And you don't have to... this entirely depends on the GM as well. But for me, I feel like I don't have to prepare as much for Daggerheart. And you just get a great story out of it anyway. So yeah. During their playtest as the Menagerie, they made up their world on the fly. Lore like the Seep was just made up on the spot. So I think the book lacks world lore to put that power in the players and GM. Yeah, that as well, potentially, Chris. That as well. Player, GM, what's this random NPC's name? GM, I don't know, you tell me, Daggerheart mode. Yes, that's exactly it. And I feel like there is going to be a weird thing where some players won't like that. And that's fair. Daggerheart's not for them. I also think that I'm going to take that from Daggerheart. If I play D&D in the future, I am going to tell my players, hey, by the way, we're going to be making this up together a bit more. Like, I'm flat out stealing it. I think it's really good. I had this happen in a game a few weeks ago with a player who's relatively new to D&D when we were playing Dungeons and Dragons. And he said to me, they were setting up this elaborate trap to trap a monster, right? And I had put some systems in place, which made one player think the world worked a certain way. It was like I had a statue that would shoot someone with a laser beam, don't worry about it, if they got too close to a doorway, right? And in my mind, the way that statue worked was that if someone came into its vision and it detected them, it would shoot them. But the way the player thought it worked was that if someone got too close to the door, the statue would shoot them. And it didn't really matter when I prepped it, which was which. But it turns out the players wanted to move the statue and use it to shoot someone else. And the way this one player understood it, they were like, we need to move it, but it needs to be looking at the door so that if someone approaches the door, it'll shoot them. And in my mind, I was like, that's not how it works. You can move it anywhere, and if someone steps in front of the statue, it'll shoot them. But they got really excited, and they were like planning this whole thing where like they had to angle the thing to look at the door, and it was getting very complex. And it was getting to the point where I was like, I wanted to be like, how do you want this to work? Because it sounds like you want this kind of really strong, like, strategic approach where it has to face the door. And the player looked at me and was like, well, how does it work? And I remember thinking, well, this is great. Like, it sounds like you want it to work the way that you want it to work, not the way I want it to work. And we can make it like that. And we had this conversation, and the player kind of backed down in the end and was like, no, you're the GM, you decide. And I remember choosing my way and thinking, it would have been cooler the other way though. And like, I wish we had a conversation where you told me how it worked, because it would have made it more fun, not only for you, but for me, and made the story better in the moment. And I think that's just a great example of the difference, because if that was Daggerheart, he would have asked me, and I think he rolled for it. He was like, can I take a better look at the statue to see how it works? And he rolled well. So I was like, there could have been a world where I just said, yeah, you rolled really well. You see exactly how it works. How does it work? And the player would be like, okay, so the way it works is, it's connected to the door, and when someone goes to the door, it shoots in that direction no matter where it is. So we could put it into a different room, and if someone approaches the door, it will shoot at the wall, and we can plan something around that. And I would be like, that's brilliant. Do that. But yeah, it's such a small thing, but it really does change the flow of the game in a big way. What's up, Schmingus? What's up, Leon?
Huge play they've made for newer TTRPG fans, or people who have perhaps never played a TTRPG before in their life, is the built-in frames or campaign settings of Daggerheart, which all heavily feature.
So campaign settings are the part of my review that I've not fully filled out yet. I've not fully read them yet. It's like the one part that I'm dark on. Glancing through them, they are very, very cool. But whether or not they would be better than like I guess some kind of like adventure or one shot I'm still undecided.
Feature massive pop culture influences that will appeal to everyone from anime fans with their delicious and dungeon themed.
And yeah, all is good, Leon. All is good. How is the food?
Beast Feast setting, which we've talked about on the channel here, to gamers who might enjoy the Zelda-esque Witherwild setting or their incredible.
Also, Paddy Frog, Markle, thank you for the follow. Sorry, I don't think I have my alerts on, or am I just not paying attention? I just don't think I'm paying attention. Sorry, guys.
Colossus of the Dryland setting, which is part Red Dead Redemption and part Shadow of the Colossus. Daggerheart is clearly casting a very wide net with their core set.
We have not already talked about the Daggerheart playtest content, because I missed the live stream like a lunatic. So I've been learning about it from chat. I don't think we can go back and watch the live stream yet, right? Or is it just up for anyone to watch? If so, I'll watch after this.
While still offering enough customization and crunch, cleverly hidden in their card-based domain, ancestry, and communities, to keep veteran players.
It's posted now?
interested.
Okay, we'll watch after this.
So we'd have to give their audience appeal a rating of
Beacon?
4.5
Is it on YouTube?
out of 5. So all in all, that
I don't think I can live stream Beacon.
leaves us with a average of 4.5 out of 5-star rating for our Daggerheart review. If you were worried it might not be complex enough for veteran TTRPG players, we suggest you stop worrying. If you were afraid the players would just be creating the narrative on the fly, there are in fact rules to allow them some input into the world, but the GM is the one firmly steering the ship in most instances. If you were worried it would be cheaply made and rushed out the door for a quick buck, this is a high-quality product that looks like it will hold up to many years of use in your backpack or sliding on off your bookshelf every weekend. And the only qualifier we would add is, if you are simply not interested in the idea of having a card-based ability system versus having a super detailed character sheet or a ton of tables to reference, or you just don't want cards in your TTRPGs for whatever reason, Daggerheart will not be the game for you. But for everyone else, we suggest you go to your local game store.
I agree with this review a lot. But I would say I don't think the card system is the issue for people not liking it. I think it's going to be the more improvisational nature of it and the more, or I should say less, crunchiness when it comes to combat only. And even then, it's not like, it doesn't make it bad or good. It just, people will prefer playing D&D, for instance, if they like combat to last an hour. That's probably the best. That is probably the best test to see if you would like this game or not. If you are in D&D and you're doing combat and initiative, and combat takes up an hour or an entire session, and it's this big thing, do you like the idea of that? Or would you rather combat was just like much shorter? And if your team's shorter, you'll like Daggerheart more. If your team give me that combat, it's why I play D&D, you'll prefer D&D.
Many of which are hosting launch events today where they will guide you through an adventure in Daggerheart and see
What's up,
if
Cleo?
you agree that Daggerheart could be the TTRPG you'll wind up playing for years to come. So what do you think about Daggerheart? Leave your thoughts and reviews in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
All right, so you're telling me that right now on the Critical Role channel, there's a new video. Or live stream. Oh, it's 1 hour long. This is kind of what I mean, by the way. This art is in the book. When I said the art is not just cool art, it's either putting forward like inspiration for stories and characters, or it's showing like collaboration, which makes people want to play like that. This art here is a great example of that. It's really cool art, but it's like showing a relationship and it's showing story. And you can tell so much from this. And it like, I don't know, it makes my mind just go as to what is happening here. And I can take all that and put that into my game in a really cool way. So I'm a big fan of the art of this book. Big fan. They talk a lot about the art and the info about the Void in about 45 minutes right after the art review. The cards feel like a bonus for players in live play, and all the card abilities in the book. All the card abilities are in the book, and you could just as easily write them on a piece of paper and have them on a character sheet. No issue. But they're fun. As someone who's really interested in playing sci-fi RPGs as opposed to a traditional fantasy medieval setting, I like the different worlds. Here's hoping they release a sci-fi add-on. Yes, that was my big criticism. It's not of the system or anything, it's just of the TTRPG space in general. We have too many fantasy RPGs. We have too many fantasy TTRPGs and not enough of the other stuff. And I want more of the other stuff, please.
Daggerheart, eh?
Okay.
Hey, I hear you're preparing for a game of Daggerheart, a collaborative fantasy role-playing game of dynamic combat and a heartfelt stories built for narrative play. Well, looks like you need to get your together. Oh, did I say?
Oh.
I meant to say, but there was a bleep. What? I said, you know, like a character? Okay, what if I just said gist?
Okay.
Gist is the official video.
We watched that already.
Daggerheart launch day live stream, hangout, chill, surprise, exciting stuff. Event.
And Matt was doing this. This is why he didn't reply to my tweet.
Yeah,
That's why.
Yeah, sorry. I kind of remember that one.
That's why.
We get closer. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're figuring this out. Hi, everybody. My name's Matt Mercer.
Hi, everybody.
I'm a guy. We have amongst us incredible people who've all contributed and been part of this amazing team to make this game happen. You know many of these faces here. This is Spencer Stark.
Hi.
The person that kind of kicked this all off with a weird idea and went, hey, can we make this? We
I
went,
know.
cool. And then
Oh, wait. Spencer approached them? I didn't realize that. Oh, I should have asked about that in the interview. That's so cool.
we made it.
And then
now
we
it's
made it. Yeah. Along with so many other people
many
that
other
contributed to that.
This is Rowan Hall, amazing writer, contributor, designer, amongst many daring things, as well as this amazing game, Daggerheart. And there's a lot of people! I know this guy.
Who is that?
This is deeply, slightly chaotic Tuesday release of Penta. Okay, no.
Oh, yeah.
As you see in the book,
Celebration.
are directly
Deserved.
out of Sean's brain. In fact, a lot of the time when we go to like have concept stuff made, we're just like,
During the open beta, we got to see all of the experiences that people put into
Hi, Laura, waving in the background. Yeah. I didn't know he works with the D20 folk. He also freaking... I was Googling him before my interview, obviously, to get like more information about him. He was a producer on one of the 100 Thieves video. And like, if you don't know who 100 Thieves are, they're like the streaming powerhouse. Hold on. Yeah, I knew him from like Kids on Brooms, because that's like the actual book. He's credited on the front of it. Videos. I think it was like 100 Thieves Hide and Seek or something. But this is 100 Thieves. They have 1.5 million subscribers, and they're just like in the streaming space as these massive, massive creators. And I clicked on a video, and Spencer Stark from Daggerheart fame was in this video. He was the producer of it. He produced this video for these huge YouTubers. I'm like, what a career to go from like, or to be doing at the same time, making these TTRPG stuff, to producing crazy video content that gets millions of views, to designing this system with Critical Role. It's wild.
To the demi-plane, it came to us on this big spreadsheet, and there was a crazy high number of Chapel Roan lyrics as experiences.
Taylor Swift lyrics.
Taylor Swift also.
lyrics. Yeah, I love that it lets you.
He said 45 minutes as well.
Okay.
Lean on Me.
Lean on Me is yours. We have to pull that one. Hold on. I don't remember what page it is, but I
That's one
remember
that
the
I
section.
got to like pitch from
it's in
like
purple.
inception to completion.
It's this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this one
and
right
Shane Lightning's right
here.
next to
Oh,
it.
you guys are on the same page.
We're on the same.
That's cute.
That's really cute.
Shane Lightning's really cool too. I
So
wanted to
it's
feel
about
cinematic.
art.
I wanted to feel reminiscent of like.
Line when
It
we
was
were doing
incredible.
it. It was like our last art
with Sean and everybody.
One of the things that was really important was that the whole game felt cinematic.
And Jeffrey was just amazing. He had
That's so cool. Yeah, the art's on point.
All I could
The
think
art's
of
on
was the
point.
cover art for the original Doom, and it made me so happy.
It was me.
Wow, so good. Oh yeah. This piece.
Wait for when chat asks Laura about dice, Arthur vibes. If you can get me a timestamp, I'll jump to it.
Is so
Beautiful.
good
I
in the
love
book.
the cape.
I know, and the colors are.
The bit of
As possible to play online the same way it does when you're playing in person with your friends. And so Demi-Plane really stepped up and showed us what they could do. And obviously their collision with Roll20 and all that was really important to us.
So great in joining us for providing the Demi-Plane Daggerheart Nexus. So
I think that all the tools that they provide also really are going to hit that pocket for people who just like to sit.
Yeah, I'm also gonna have to go to my local game store and buy myself a normal copy of Daggerheart, because I also think that's really, really cool as well. And it would be nice to have some cards that I'm not gonna destroy that have gold edging.
At their computer and make infinite characters. It's not me. So you can just like, I always want to have a folder after folder.
And in like October of last year, we were like, wouldn't it be really cool if? And then
Things that might live best in the void, you know.
Oh, it's
dear
about Void
onboarding
here.
time. Go check it out with them. There are a ton of game masters who would be happy to run a game for you. So.
I can't believe how many people.
I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I gotta
Spencer's age jewelry is freaking awesome there.
run a game of Daggerheart. Yeah, it's really good. So again, seats are filling up fast. Go find a game with them, and they also have Demi-Plane, so they're gonna be able to jump in and use all the digital tools as well as some of the physical tools.
Someone asked quickly to say who we are again, to keep track of like the
Oh
humans.
yeah, that's
So
probably.
maybe a quick reintroduction before we jump into the next bit.
My name's Elise Resendez. I'm a senior RPG producer for Daggerheart.
I'm Spencer Stark. I'm the lead designer of Daggerheart.
Okay, this is maybe insulting to everyone introducing themselves, but I wanna get.
And Rob.
Here's the fun thing. Friends, we've been keeping a lot of secrets.
We have so many secrets.
This is going to be the part where we talk to you about all the things we haven't told you anything about for the last years and months and weeks and days. It's a couple fun things. I think I'm going to let you two start it off.
glad you could be here with us.
After the Void, they talk about another homebrew tool. Okay.
Yeah, those have been following us through the beta,
Excited.
through many of our announcements and things. Been a lot of talk about cool things that could be thrown in the void, things that might live best in the void. You know, maybe some ideas.
Staring into the void. Staring into the void. Because the void is a real thing.
The void is a real thing. The void is guys. Dumb nuts.
Classic GM.
Exactly. I'm used to this. But no, the void is going to be and will actually, as of right now, be our destination for public-facing playtest materials going forward.
Yeah.
It's going to be a place where we can introduce things that we're developing behind the scenes for possible future releases, or just things we want to release to the community to try out in their home games for free, and to give us feedback or just to use as you see fit.
Yeah, so we're gonna throw some stuff on here for you to go and play with. Yes, we should talk about right now what's live because we've already launched a couple of things. There are 2 classes that are currently on the Void as of right now. We're gonna talk about one of them.
Correct. So first off, we have the fighter. So we have the warrior class in launch game, which is more of the weapon wielding, armored, epic front-facing combatant. The fight.
Oh, have they got? Is this the monk class fundamentally? Yes, Juggernaut and martial artist. Right, I was wondering about that.
Is more of the pugilist, the fisticuffs, the natural body as a weapon. Can use weapons as well, but they have some abilities that allow them to be that sort of martial artist or ballroom brawler or just massive brute of a puncher with 2 subclasses. Part of the Juggernaut, which is that big hulking bruiser, and the martial artist, which leans into your classic kind of monk type fighting techniques. Your ability to customize stances that you can switch in and out of or between as you level up, that you can build up a character. It's a lot of fun ideas. It's a blend of both bone and valor as far as the domains go. So you have the defensive capabilities of the valor domain with the tactical maneuverability of the bone domain. It's kind of a first example of us stepping out of the core game circle of domains and show how really 2 domains from anywhere is capable of creating a whole new class.
People are asking, where is the Void? Daggerheart.com/thevoid.
Library now. Such an existential question. It's all around you.
Put it somewhere. It's somewhere.
We also have dropping the Warlock, which is something that people have been asking for a long time. And we said we were just getting started, and we are. The Warlock is there now, but the Warlock doesn't just.
Those who've traded their lives or perhaps even their souls to an otherworldly patron in exchange for incredible powers are known as warlocks. Often those mortals are at a point of desperation that leads them to such sacrifice to themselves or a loved one, aid their community, seek vengeance, increase their status, or otherwise further their ambitions. Included a brand new domain, Dread. Okay, that's pretty big. 2 subclasses, Pacts of the Endless and Pacts of the Wrathful.
Include 2 new subclasses, which are Pact of the Endless and Pact of the Wrathful. It also includes a brand new domain called Dread. I don't know if you want to talk about Dread because you did so much hard work on Dread.
Yes, the Dread domain represents a step into the darker magics of fantasy. This is where a number of spells and abilities center around fear tactics,
Travis in the background
manipulating
is wild.
like nightmarish visuals, conjuring darker fiends, possible undead, and just all around finagling with things that revolve around dread and magic and that space. So yeah, we're throwing this up on the Void for you to play with and have fun and test and let us know about it as we're testing it on our end.
So we have 2 people who've been playing fighters and 2 people who've been playing warlocks. So I'd love for the 2 of you to talk about fighters and then talk about warlocks.
I feel really neutral about the fighter, guys. I feel really neutral. I don't get really excited about it, and I certainly didn't stand up on my chair and scream the first time we started playtesting it. Elisa's also been playing. You want to talk about Praxis?
I would love for you to talk about the thing that you care the most about.
Yeah, fighter. Yeah, so point being, martial artists. We were like, okay, we're gonna make this class. We started playtesting it, and the first playtest we came back, and we were like, it feels cool, but it didn't feel cool enough, because kind of the fantasy, some of the things we talk about when we build with Spencer is what's the fantasy of this class? What are we playing with? And one of the things that we really wanted to play with was the idea of hitting a bunch of times.
Pop.
Yep. So it was just how can we not throw off the rest of the balance, but still get a chance to hit an ungodly number of
machine gun
times.
punch.
So we came up with, am I allowed to talk about combo strikes?
Yeah, it's public.
Cool,
You can
it's
go ahead.
public. Combo strikes, which means that you we took the idea of an exploding die, and that you roll, starting with a D4, and if you roll it, that's a 3, so I could get a 4 or higher. And
This is fantastic. This is such a fun mini game within a class, within a specific subclass. I love it.
Keep rolling, that's a 2, so it's lower. And then you add that to the overall damage that you do when you do a successful hit. And I rolled 10 times.
A 1, a 1, a 1, a 1.
I
think you rolled 7 die, and you were up and out of your chair.
I was and it was another one. And I walked away from that playtest and I was like, we did it, Spencer. We found it.
Wait, you have to roll a 1 to explode? Is that what she's saying?
A 1. I think you rolled 7 die, and you were up and out of your chair.
A 1 hit. And then you add so I could get a roll, starting with a D4, and if you roll it, that's a 3, so I could get a 4 or higher, and I could keep rolling. That's a 2, so it's lower. And then you add that to the overall damage that you do when you do a successful hit. And I rolled 10 times.
I'm not sure I
a
understand.
one.
What I originally thought, which was cool, was I thought they were saying if you roll your damage dice and you get the highest number on there, you can explode to the next dice. So you'll roll a d4, and if you get a 4, then you roll a d6. And if you get a 6, then you roll a d8. And you just keep going up like that. But I'm not actually sure now what what was happening rolling ones.
A one. A one.
Has to be the same or higher? Right. Right, okay. So, if you get the same or higher of whatever you rolled, you go up, or you keep rolling until you roll something lower than what you rolled last.
One. A one. I think you rolled 7 die, and you were up and out of your chair.
I was like screaming, and it was like another one, and I walked away from the playtest, and I was like, we did it, Spencer. We found it. We did it.
The really cool thing about all of this is that we like it for now. It is not final.
What's up, Theo?
It is not public, or it is not published, it is not done. So if there are things that people have feedback about, very much in the same way of the premise of the open beta, we want to hear what you guys think, feel. There's a survey out that's live at the bottom of the page of the Void. So give us your feedback. We want to know how it's going, and we're going to just keep doing updates for that as we go on. Yeah.
So it's not final, but certainly I've had a blast playtesting it. The two of us playtested. I playtested martial artist, and you playtested Juggernaut, and they were pretty much as opposite of characters as you could get. Yours was a big, like, beefy himbo boy,
just a big old
and mine was a really, like, stick thin.
I have to say the playtests for this feel easier to just kind of bring on board than in D&D because you're just dealing with like cards and one character sheet, right? So like one player can just print off that stuff and they can playtest it in a way that isn't like, I don't know, disrupting the rest of the table too much. I feel like in D&D, if you bring a brand new character to the table, I guess it's still, I guess it's similar. I'm comparing it to like D&D's tests, but where they truly were testing like a whole new system. So it isn't the same. Yeah, forget I said anything.
Icky boy.
Yeah.
So if you're getting once, it's infinite combo. Yeah, well, until you kill the person or you choose to stop. Which isn't crazy to me about Daggerheart. Also, because of damage thresholds, it doesn't really matter there's a cap to how much damage you can do. Like, you can roll, but if you get over 16 damage, it doesn't matter whether you do 30 or 40 or 70 damage, you're still going to take the same amount of HP off anything over 16, right?
So
The boys get a lot of traffic right
Yeah.
now. Just to let you know. I got to go to work. I'll be back.
I am going to be doing what I have done before, which is absolutely blow our bandwidth requirements for the website out of the water. I really appreciate the critter hug. I really hope that doesn't cost us a lot of money on Megabyte download. I love you guys. You sure, Travis?
We're tracking stuff right now. I need to build Popeye when I get home. I really have a need.
Hey, were you a Molgoth? Do you have daddy issues? Pick up the Warlock from the Void.
How I feel seen.
This is something that has been on my wish list since the beginning. I'm so excited to release the Dread Domain. We are releasing 2 different subclasses, the Pact of the Wrathful, which is kind of a screw you subclass, and then Pact of the Endless, which is like, you can't screw me. And Penny has been a huge part of like vibe curating the Warlock, because one of the big pieces is like, how do we make sure it feels like you can make a deal with a huge variety of patrons, depending on like what you want to pick, what they do.
If the buttons aren't working, please just know that there are probably a lot of people in there right now. I'm so sorry.
They broke the void.
Give us some patience as we work on the critter hug. Thank you so much.
Our Slack is exploding right
Bardic Calamity. Wait, so it's good? The void downloads are working now. Good to know. I'm going to check that out after this stream. Bardic Calamity, you mean the void is good, or do you mean is Daggerheart good?
now with people trying to fix it. So
Yeah, we're working on it.
We're aware of it.
Appreciate your patience. They'll be there.
Hey, Love Psycho. Thanks for seeing our typo. You'll see more. Thanks for letting us know. We'll try to fix that for you. Yeah, you play tested the Warlock most recently.
Yeah, I think the fun thing about the Warlock, I mean, a big fun thing is that there's a whole new domain to play with, which means a whole bunch of new cards. And so, I mean, I think I'm having a lot of fun exploring that, but I think also another thing about the Warlocks that is really cool is you can have, like Roman starting to say, a whole bunch of different patrons, and it still works with the class. It gives you all these fun little boons to play with, and potentially get them to, do a little thing in your favor.
Huge game designer ask from everybody who wants to play the Warlock. I'd really love for everyone to put the boons through their faces and see if they feel satisfying. They're one of the pieces that were the hardest for us to kind of get in there, and I think they'll continue to be.
Hey, I like the transparency, though. I really like the transparency. Daggerheart, I don't know if I can break up with my D20. If you love rolling the D20 too much, then yeah, the game's not for you, because unless you're GMing, if you're a game master, you use a D20 still. It doesn't go up in dice every time you roll. Right. So how does it work is the question.
Be something that we're playing with. So please send us feedback on the boons in particular, because I will be on the lookout for that.
Once the download button's working.
Oh yeah, once the download
Love you all.
button.
Thank you so much
Thank you so much for your patience.
And that's what we're on.
I think those are way off.
There's going to be a lot more, but we did want to start with something at launch, which is incredible. Which is
So
great.
that's what we're doing
That's
to
what we've been building.
Do some fun things moving forward. What about what they get to do?
What's next?
The die upgrades as a level up option up to D10. Right. But are we talking? So we're talking about for the monk subclass. Not monk, but yeah. But is it that what do you need to roll again? Is my question on that.
Excited for this one. That's what we've been building. Why don't we take a look at what you can start building coming soon? Roll that clip.
Oh. John Dennehy, thank you for the follow. How's it going? Did I hear correct that Daggerheart is leaning more into theatre of the mind and away from grids? As someone that cannot visualize it all, aphantasia, and relies heavily on grids, this has me worried. Should it be? I don't think so. Like the core rulebook very much talks about using battle mats. And in my interview with Matt and Spencer, Spencer was saying that like he built this with grids in mind. What they're moving away from is like very distinctive distances, which I don't know. Aphantasia may affect that as well, but it's the idea that you could be like, okay, over here everything is like 10 feet away from each other, but then there's a gap in the middle of the map that's 100 feet, and obviously we're not going to show that. It's still just like going to be a couple of squares. But imagine that's 100 feet wide, and then we're back to normal on the other side. Or this person's like really high in the air and stuff like that. That's kind of what it's putting away from. This part is sick. Custom cards. Paddy Frog, spoilers. Even though it says it right here on my screen. And you can use optional rules for sure. You have my Discord DM? Oh, cool. Okay, cool. Leon's grabbed me the actual. After making a damage roll with a melee weapon, but before dealing that damage to the target, mark a stress to start a combo strike. When you do, roll a combo die and note its value. Then roll another combo die. If the value of the second die is equal to or greater than your first combo die, continue rolling additional die until the latest combo die's value is less than the roll. Yes, okay. Yeah. So we did get that. Who said it earlier? Who was like spot on. It's the same or higher. If you get the same or higher, you keep rolling. So if you keep rolling ones, your next one is going to be a 1 or higher, so you can just keep going and going and going. All right, that's pretty cool. But you keep rolling d4s. But when you level up, it goes to a d6 or a d8 or a d10, which means that when you're in the 4th tier and you're rolling d10s, you could do you could punch a lot. Add above your previous roll. Yeah, that's freaking awesome. Okay. I love that. Two of my friends are playing Apex Legends, or were earlier, when I live streamed. And because I didn't respond to them, they just said, Phil, go fuck yourself. Screw those guys. All right. I'll play with them later. It's all right, he's Irish. That's how he says I love you. I think I must have zoned out on that part of your interview. I just heard the part about ignoring scale and distances and how to panic attack. Yeah, if you want to, you can ignore scale as far as like you can be on a battle mat and you can be like, this guy is 20 feet away from you, even though like the distance of it is very similar to this guy. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be sticking to distances being exact, like in D&D, and every square is 5 feet. I'm going to stick with that, I think, except for extreme circumstances, just because I really like keeping in mind how far away things are. But you should also note that in most of the abilities, it's not like it says 60 feet or 30 feet or 10-foot radius. It more just says if someone is close to you, if someone is very close to you, or if someone's far from you. So distances just don't mean as much in general in Daggerheart, but they're still there and you can still use them. Yeah, that's true, Leon. I didn't think about that. So, like, when you roll, yeah, you want to get, like, a lower number at the start, which is very different from how you would normally roll. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm going to get copyrighted. I'm going to get copyrighted. God damn it. God damn it. I can't be playing other people's music. I don't know what I have to do to get that into my freaking brain. I've probably been... This whole day I've probably been playing music I shouldn't be playing. I apologize to everyone involved. Well, this is... Yeah. Dude, this is going to make homebrewing so cool. Especially because I can, like, make a community and I could call it Toronto and I could get a picture of the CN Tower or the Toronto skyline and put it here. Yeah, upload custom art, that's good. Powered by Pixel Table. That's fun. That's so cool. Yeah, I mean, just being able to put your own character's art on these cards. So it's your character doing the thing that the card says it does is so cool. Which means that Daggerheart is a really flexible system when it comes to not just high fantasy, but also any period of time and any amount of fiction or non-fiction. True that. Yeah. No complaints from me. That's very, very cool.
Daggerheart isn't just ours, it's also yours. Eddie San Marco and everybody over at Pixel Table has been working with us in secret to build the homebrew home for Daggerheart content. It is something that even before any of us were here, you two have been talking about for years.
They talk about anything else, do we know? Good for those wanting sci-fi. I mean, yeah, or just like people who just really want to customize everything. It's so good.
Dark survival fantasy for Age of Umbra. I wouldn't lean into grimdark, because it has a lot of connotations, kind of edgelord history. It definitely has dark, intense, challenging themes and leans into that kind of dark fantasy scenario. But also it's filled with moments of hope and light, and fighting against that shadow very intentionally, based on a lot of its points of inspiration. So
one of the cool things you put in the text of Age of Umbra, and I think with no spoil.
Oh man, happy Daggerheart Day, everyone. Happy Daggerheart Day. My camera is like foggy, right? It's like a little bit steamed up, or is that just the lighting in here? Hold on. Not better at all. It just seems like it needs a wipe, which I'm probably gonna do after this. Laura at timestamp 2545.
What are your other "this isn't live, prove it" call-outs? Let's go.
Do it.
Oh, Laura, they want to know if you're collecting new dice just for Daggerheart.
Okay.
Yes.
Honestly,
We have some appearances coming up. If you feel like bringing no.
Phaser hearts.
No, I am.
have you
Star
fallen in love with the
hearts.
new D12?
They're
Reese,
so
what are you
pretty.
doing? No, don't provoke this.
Yes.
This is
I
my marriage.
have
I'm
the
so
ones-
I wonder what if she has a collection at home that she has on display only. I feel like not. I feel like she uses all her dice, right? The camera's tuned because you're so heartfelt. Stop it, Leon. Stop it.
Those came out.
Yeah.
And I am giving Arthur. Oh.
I said,
You are. You really are.
I said, boy meets world. I'm getting boy meets world.
It's such a good look, babe. It's so good. It's making all my dreams come true.
Here we go.
Okay, that's better.
Wait, if she's collecting a bunch of new dice for Daggerheart, does this confirm Daggerheart for C4? It certainly confirms it for a couple of things going forwards, I think. Man, I really hope they do Daggerheart for C4. I really hope they do Daggerheart for C4. But we'll find out. It's because I want to make Daggerheart content. And it's easy to make Daggerheart content if they're playing Daggerheart. It might screw me up a little bit, actually, but... Because then can I talk about Matthew Mercer as much when I talk about D&D content? But yeah, I think it would be cool.
But now I need to get some like crystal ones, some gemstone ones.
Did you know that D12s come in like 7 different shapes?
Yeah. No, they're
Exactly, Leon. There's no bonus actions. It's beautiful. Oh, my name? Exactly, Leon. I don't exist there. It's beautiful. I'm going to change my name to Duality Phil. Duality Phil. What about Hope and Phil? Hope and Phil. Sorted.
There's special shapes you can get. It's so exciting. And what I like is playing with like the hope and fear and changing up the colors because like just like,
Hope and Phil. Hope and Phil. Duality. Daggerheart 8-episode miniseries for Critical Role starting 5/29. What's the date today? It's the 20th. I thought Daggerheart 8-episode miniseries. Piker, I think Age of Wonders starts on the 22nd. Right? On Thursday, we get the miniseries. Unless it's a different miniseries. But why the days backwards? I think he's from America. Piker, where are you from? Doing dates like that. Is that actual start or session 0? Okay. If we want to get pedantic, maybe you're right. Maybe they don't start playing until a week later. Okay, maybe you're... God damn it. I hate being proven wrong. It's not fun. Can you guys just pretend I'm right all the time? Philly McPhilface. I should change my channel name to that. That has to exist on YouTube already. I wouldn't be surprised if they did a session 0 first half and played it the second half. Like Rolling with Hope or Rolling with Fear, only Rolling with Phil. Bonus points if there's a logo showing 3D12s, two with different colors, and a third that's just a silhouette with your face on it. I do like the idea of my face as the number on the dice. What about my face, but it shapes like a D12, like with all the sharp edges and stuff? Nightmare fuel or cool? Oh yeah, come join me in Toronto, Piker. It's lovely here. For 1/3 of the year, it's lovely. I think Session Zero counts towards me. If we wanted to get pedantic, everyone telling me it doesn't start. I agree. I think Session Zero is the start of it. That's branding right there. But yeah, also welcome in, Dalport. Welcome in. They need as many tools as they can. I think it starts with Session Zero. I think it starts with Session Zero. Screw you guys. I'm right. It starts on the 22nd. Get out of here. Get out of here. Good idea. Didn't I do that with the Menagerie series? Menagerie mini-series. Menageries with the playtest rules. They did, but I think it was like they weren't dropping the Session Zeros and the level ups on the main days. It was like as an addition. We'll see though. We'll see. Alright guys, I need to end the stream. I don't want to do it when I've got 35 people watching me on YouTube and 18 on Twitch. So if you could all leave. You can all get out of here. It'll make it easy for me to end the stream. So just go close down the window. Thank you. Everyone should come to Discord. Yeah, get out of it. Ryan, leave. Everyone leave. Okay, the number of people on YouTube went up to 36. No, leave. Get out. Don't come in. Get out. Wait, which clip, Leon? Oh, you sent me a clip? Oh, thank you. I don't hit dogs. I don't know where you got that clip from. It's wild. Wild AI. You can do anything with that nowadays. Actually crazy. Alright, get out of here, guys. Yeah, leave. Leave. Why? The show's over. I can only think you're just AFK at your keyboard. Music stopped. Time to go. Get out of here. 35 viewers on YouTube still. There's nothing happening, guys. It's over. The stream's over. Still 17 viewers on Twitch. You can just close it. Close it now. Just go find someone else to watch. I'm just gonna read my Daggerheart book until people leave. That's all I got. You guys just go. Oh, channeling armor's cool. An advanced grappler. On a successful attack, you can pull a target into melee range, and it's 2d6 plus 4 physical damage. Very cool. It's going to be close range, though. Guys, leave. Leave. Don't invite your friends. No, get out of here. Join the Discord. Like the YouTube video. Leave the stream. wonder what kind of experience I'm going to make up when I play the game. I wonder what experiences I have as a human being. You know? Like, what's my deal? What would give me +2 on real life rolls? Dented is not a nice experience for me. Get out of it. We shall not be moved. You can stay, but nothing's happening. So I won't end the stream until I have. We close less than 30 viewers on YouTube because I can't bring myself to. Two people need to leave. That's it. 2 people. This is it's a nice book to like flip through for sure. So guys, anything new lately? No, Leon, leave. Right now, Alcatraz and Leon are chatting. Oh, you're not on YouTube. Actually. You are? Thank you. Okay, 29 people. I'm ending the stream. Thanks for leaving. The fact that people were sticking around. Anyway, that's my Daggerheart first impressions, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys at a later date. I might not be streaming this again this week, and maybe not next week. You see 31 people. No, I see 29. It's all good. Don't be wrong. I mean, does not say 31 there. Fine. Let me refresh. If it says. It does say 30 now. You live here now, just accept it. Why has it gone up to 33? There's nothing happening. I'm changing the title of the stream. So at 34. No. Where's my YouTube live stream? Edit. Do not come into this stream. Okay, so no one's going to come in. Sometimes the reality is I'm doing better not making any kind of content whatsoever than I was making content. You'll lose it if it's my successful stream. I don't do anything at all. I would have mixed feelings. I would have mixed feelings. Leon, don't. Thank you for the sub. Thank you for gifting it to E-Star. Guys, leave. Just leave. I just... Whatever. When's my birthday? March 9th. What, March 9th. I shouldn't just give out that information as freely as I am. When's my birthday? When's my social security number? Yeah, that's my mother's maiden name. Hey guys, don't forget that you can leave the stream. I'm sure you got things to do, places to be, loved ones to spend time with. The stream's over. The stream ended. This isn't the stream anymore. This is just me chilling. It's going to be on my phone. Just going to check some emails and stuff, you know. $34 viewers on YouTube. Okay, so I've called it don't come into this stream. You guys can all leave now. Did I like the dice? The Daggerheart dice? I mean, yeah. Yeah, I do. The tokens I'm a bit iffy about, though. So is there anything actually wrong with ending the stream with viewers still watching? There's nothing wrong with it. But I don't want to do it at this point. It's hard to walk away from 30 viewers because I don't normally have 30 viewers. So I'm just going to wait till people leave and the views start to go down. And I'm going to end the stream. So just leave. Just go home, guys. Go home. Go eat some food. It's about pride at this point. We need people to come to Discord if they haven't already. Yeah, come on. It's your life now. Oh, it's just personal preference. It's just a little fun little joke. I'm already home though. Lunch break just started, so I have nothing better to do than sit here and watch me squid. You're just watching me watching you. Okay. It looks like, has it dropped below 30 viewers now? It has. All right, guys, I'm leaving it there. Thank you for watching. Those are my first impressions of Daggerheart, and have a good day. Have a good week. That was me waving, by the way. Bye now.